Chapter 422. Moreover, now that Thundercloud and Tang Ao had decided to work together, it would be unwise to fall out with Tang Ao over such a small benefit. Compared to the treasures in the ruins, these 3 shadow leopards were nothing to Thundercloud. Even though the 3 shadow leopards were worth a lot, Thundercloud didn't care too much about them. Tang Ao put Su Ning down. Su Ning was different from Tang Ho. Tang was only a 4 or 5-year-old child, but Su Ning was already a slender and elegant young lady. Tang Ao felt a burning sensation in his heart as he carried Su Ning in his arms. After placing Su Ning on the ground, Tang Ao took out the 100-battle spear soul that was stuck in the ground. As Tang Ao's spiritual power vibrated on the spear, the 100-battle spear soul immediately lit up. Then, Tang Ao flicked his wrist and kept the 100-battle spear soul. After keeping the 100-battle spear soul, Tang Ao looked at Su Ning. "Junior sister Su, did you kill any cloud gong pigs?" Although he couldn't get out in a short period of time, Tang Ao didn't forget about Tang Hor and Lu Hanxiu. Tang Ao was here to hunt cloud gong pigs. Moreover, cloud gong pigs were extremely rare in the outside world. Since Su Ning had been in the underworld Emperor Mountain range for a long time, she should have gotten some. Su Ning didn't know why Tang Ao would suddenly ask such a strange question, but she still nodded her head. Cloud gong pigs had delicious meat, but due to excessive hunting by warriors in the Black-Yellow continent, there were almost no wild cloud gong pigs left. However, it was different in the underworld Emperor Mystic realm. The underworld Emperor Mystic realm only opened once every 10,000 years, and cloud gong pigs didn't have any natural enemies. Therefore, there were quite a number of cloud gong pigs in the underworld Emperor Mountain range. Su Ning had already been in the underworld Emperor Mountain range for 3 months, so naturally, she had killed many cloud gong pigs. After all, the cloud gong pig only had the strength of a body refinement realm martial artist. Although Su Ning only had the cultivation of the 3rd level of the origin realm, it was more than enough to kill the cloud gong pig. Tang Ao had saved her twice, so Su Ning was willing to share some gong pigs with Tang Ao. Thinking of this, Su Ning took out 4 frozen gong pigs from her storage ring and gave them to Tang Ao. There were a total of 8 frozen gong pigs in Su Ning's storage ring. She originally wanted to bring it back to the sect for her junior brothers and sisters to have a good meal, but now that Tang Ao wanted it, Su Ning had no reason to refuse. Moreover, she hadn't left the underworld Emperor Mountain range yet. There were a lot of cloud gong pigs in the underworld Emperor Mountain range, so if she gave them to Tang Ao, she would be able to hunt more in the future. There were many sects in the Black-Yellow continent, and Su Ning was in a small and weak sect. The founder of the sect was a kind-hearted 1st-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist. Su Ning and the other disciples were orphans that she had taken in from the nearby area. Everything in the sect was built by Su Ning and the others together. Although they were called master and disciple, they were as close as mother and daughter. In Su Ning's sect, all the junior brothers and sisters were like family. Tang Ao didn't know what Su Ning was thinking. If he knew that Su Ning was hunting these cloud gong pigs to bring back to the junior brothers and sisters in the sect, Tang Ao wouldn't have asked Su Ning for the cloud gong pigs. However, after Su Ning threw the 4 cloud gong pigs to Tang Ao used his spirit power and threw the 3 shadow leopards in front of him to Su Ning's feet. Chapter 423. Su Ning was dazed by Tang Ao's gift, while Wang Meng and Li Zai's faces turned green. Wang Meng's big eyes stared at Tang Ao as if he wanted to eat Tang Ao alive. Li Zai's eyes narrowed into a line, and a cold, killing intent flickered in his eyes. Tang Ao naturally noticed their expressions, but Tang Ao didn't care. After all, if someone wanted to die, Tang Ao couldn't do anything about it. Tang Ao took back his 100-battle spear soul and went with Thundercloud and the other 2 to the ruins Thundercloud mentioned. In the underworld Emperor Mountain range, Su Ning's strength could be said to be the weakest. Apart from the cloud gong boar, Su Ning couldn't beat any of the other demonic beasts. Therefore, Tang Ao decided to bring Su Ning along with him. They would decide what to do after they left the mountain range a month later. Seeing that Tang Ao insisted on bringing Su Ning, Thundercloud reminded him, "Senior brother Tang Ao, although you have extraordinary skills, the ruins are very dangerous. Moreover, the other sea of Soul Realm warriors in the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range are also gathered there. I'm afraid it's a bit inappropriate for you to bring this junior sister." Although Thundercloud could feel that Tang Ao's strength was not ordinary, if Tang Ao brought a burden like Su Ning, Thundercloud wasn't sure how much of Tang Ao's strength could be used. Hearing that Thundercloud wanted Tang Ao to leave her behind, Su Ning's heart started to beat faster. Originally, Huiqing and Su Ning were both at the 3rd level of the Origin Martial Realm, but Su Ning was timid and not good at fighting. She wasn't good at fighting. So, Su Ning gave all the resources they found to Huiqing. That was why Huiqing's strength rose to the 8th level of the Origin Realm. With Huiqing, Su Ning was not absolutely safe in the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range, but there was no problem in moving around the outskirts. But now that Huiqing was dead, if Tang Ao left Su Ning behind, Su Ning would become food for all the demonic beasts in the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range. A cultivator at the 3rd level of the Origin Realm, other than the Cloud Gong Pig, couldn't defeat any other monster in the Netherworld Emperor Mountain Range. Moreover, Su Ning's appearance was extremely pure and moving. Even if she didn't meet any demonic beasts, Su Ning's ending would be extremely pitiful if she met some evil cultivators. Therefore, when Su Ning heard Thundercloud persuade Tang Ao to leave her behind, Su Ning became as nervous as a frightened rabbit. If Tang Ao really left her behind, she would only have a dead end waiting for her. Although they didn't know each other for a long time, Tang Ao could see that Su Ning was a kind-hearted girl. Tang Ao wasn't a good person, but he was definitely not a bad person. In a situation where he could protect himself, Tang Ao felt that bringing Su Ning wasn't a big deal. Therefore, Tang Ao rejected Thundercloud's advice. "Junior Lei, I feel that Junior Su Ning is quite cute, so I've decided to bring her along." After Tang Ao finished speaking, Su Ning didn't even hear what Tang Ao said. After knowing that Tang Ao wouldn't leave her behind, Su Ning immediately gave Tang Ao a big hug. "Senior Tang Ao, you're the best." Suddenly being hugged by Su Ning, Tang Ao sighed. This girl's heart was really big. Su Ning hugged Tang Ao for a while, then shyly let go of Tang Ao. Chapter 424. In the outskirts of Underworld Emperor Mountain, 3 life and death realm martial artists had been discovered, and the martial artists exploring the ruins had also reaped a bountiful harvest. Moreover, after going deeper, they had discovered no less than 4 ruins. And the place Tang Ao and the rest were heading to was precisely the 5th ruin in the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range. This ruin had been discovered not long ago, and it was protected by a barrier that had yet to be broken. Therefore, some people guessed that this ruin was most likely left behind by an astral-reaching martial artist. Astral-reaching realm was the height Tang Ao had reached in his previous life, and could also be regarded as the peak existence in the Black-Yellow Continent. Even Underworld Emperor and the other all-powerful martial artists had only reached the peak of astral-reaching realm. In Tang Ao's previous life, he had learned that there were even higher planes outside of the Black-Yellow Continent. However, even after traveling for half his life, Tang Ao still hadn't found the passage leading to higher planes. Tang Ao himself was the reincarnation of an astral-reaching martial artist. Therefore, Tang Ao knew about the abilities of astral-reaching martial artists. If the ruined Thundercloud was talking about was indeed an inheritance left behind by an astral-reaching martial artist, then the dangers and opportunities within would naturally be self-evident. In fact, Tang Ao didn't really want to face an astral-reaching martial artist at the moment. A centipede might die, but it wouldn't fall down, and old monsters like astral-reaching martial artists were even more so. The difference between astral-reaching martial artists and Sea of Soul Realm martial artists was like the difference between heaven and earth. As long as an astral-reaching martial artist had a trace of remnant soul remaining, He could toy with an ordinary sea of soul realm martial artists to death. After learning that this ruin was most likely left behind by an astral-reaching martial artist, Tang Ao had already become vigilant. However, Tang Ao wasn't afraid. Although astral-reaching martial artists were extremely powerful, the current Tang Ao wasn't someone to be trifled with. After walking for a while, the token on Thundercloud's waist suddenly flickered with 2 red lights. After seeing this red light, Thundercloud picked up the token and sensed it for a moment. Then, he said to Tang Ao's group of 4, "Senior brother Tang Ao, one of my junior sisters has encountered some trouble. You and junior brothers Wang Ming should continue on your way. I'll definitely catch up in an hour." Tang Ao nodded. They had not arrived at the ruins yet. If Thundercloud wanted to deal with some personal matters, Tang Ao would not refuse. But Wang Ming and Li Zhe didn't want it. Wang Ming put the hammer on his shoulder and said, "Brother Thundercloud, if you want to go deal with something, then Brother Li Zhe and I will go with you." Tang Ao already has the map to the ruins. Even now, Li Zhe and Wang Ming were dissatisfied with Tang Ao. Although Thundercloud had told them many times that Tang Ao's real power was not at the Yuan Martial Realm level 6 that he had shown. He was most likely a Sea of Souls Realm warrior. But Wang Ming and Li Zhe thought that Tang Ao was not a Sea of Souls Realm warrior. He was at most at the Yuan Martial Realm level 9, like the two of them. Therefore, the two did not have much respect for Tang Ao. Instead, they were trying to provoke Tang Ao with every move they made. Tang Ao did not have a good temper. But if a fly flew by Tang Ao's ear from time to time, Tang Ao would not be afraid of flies. Therefore, when Wang Ming and Li Zhe were talking to Thundercloud, Tang Ao kept walking with Su Ning. "This brat is too arrogant. I will smash him to death with my hammer." Seeing Tang Ao's attitude, Wang Ming was furious. But Thundercloud pulled him back. "Don't ask for trouble. You two keep following Brother Tang Ao. My sister has encountered a shadow leopard of Yuan Martial Realm level 9. I will go help them. I will be able to catch up in half an hour." Chapter 425. After Thundercloud left, Wang Ming and Li Zhe unwillingly followed behind Tang Ao and Su Ning. Tang Ao acted as if he didn't notice Wang Ming and Su Ning's emotions. He only looked at the surrounding terrain while cracking a few jokes to make Su Ning giggle. When Wang Ming and Li Zhe saw Tang Ao's expression, Wang Ming almost swung his hammer and hit Tang Ao's head. Although Tang Ao kept walking, Tang Ao's soul power was always watching the surroundings. Therefore, Tang Ao could clearly see the expressions on Wang Ming's face. Tang Ao accepted Thundercloud's invitation to go to the ruins. Tang Ao would do what he said, so no matter what, Tang Ao would go with Thundercloud. But if Wang Ming and Li Zhe didn't know what was good for them, Tang Ao wouldn't mind sending them to paradise. Just as Wang Ming was about to make things difficult for Tang Ao, Li Zhe pulled him back. Compared to Wang Ming, Li Zhe was a bit more scheming. Although Li Zhe was also dissatisfied with Tang Ao, he didn't show it as strongly as Wang Ming. When he saw that Wang Ming was about to attack Tang Ao, Li Zhe whispered a few words in his ear. "Junior brother Wang, isn't senior brother Tang Ao a spirit sea realm cultivator? This is the depths of the Netherworld Emperor mountain range. Whether it's a demon or a cultivator, they're not easy to deal with. Senior Tang Ao has 3 shadow leopards of the 9th level of the Origin Realm on him, so you should be a bit more worried," Li Zhe sinisterly said next to Wang Ming. Although Wang Ming was as strong as a bear, he wasn't stupid. Wang Ming nodded after hearing Li Zhe's brilliant plan. Then, Wang Ming glared at Tang Ao and said, "Tang Ao, since you already know the location of the ruins, we won't be serving you. Tomorrow morning, we'll meet at the entrance." As Wang Ming spoke, Tang Ao and Su Ning kept walking. When Wang Ming finished, Tang Ao said indifferently, "Take care, I won't send you off. Be careful on the way. It wouldn't be good if some wild boar or dog ate you." Wang Ming almost got an internal injury from Tang Ao's words. "Junior brother Wang, let's go. Since senior brother Tang Ao is so confident, let's meet at the entrance tomorrow morning." Li Zhe looked at Tang Ao and pulled Wang Ming in another direction. After Li Zhe and Wang Ming left, Su Ning looked at Tang Ao and hesitated for a moment before saying, "Senior brother Tang Ao, you won't have any friends like this." Tang Ao was amused by Su Ning. "Aren't you my friend? How can I have no friends?" "Tang Ao, that's not what I meant. We're in the depths of the Ming Emperor Mountain Range, and I'm too weak. If there's any danger, I won't be able to help. I'll even be a burden to senior brother Tang Ao. Senior brother Li Zhe and senior brother Wang Ming are both at the 9th level of the Origin Martial Realm. If senior brother Tang Ao is in danger, they can help him." Tang Ao shook his head after hearing Su Ning's words. Wang Ming and Li Zhe were greedy and narrow-minded. With them following, Tang Ao wouldn't be a hindrance. Moreover, it was not difficult for Tang Ao to imagine that if something were to happen, not only would these two fellows not help him, they might even stab him in the back. As for the depths of the Ming Emperor Mountain Range, Tang Ao didn't care at all. Just now, when Tang Ao scanned the surroundings with his soul power, he found that the beasts here were only a bit stronger than the ones on the outskirts. Most of the beasts on the outskirts were at the Origin Martial Realm, but in the depths, most of them were only at the 1st or 2nd level of the Sea of Souls realm. Chapter 426. Ever since Tang Ao entered the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, other than Thundercloud, he had only found one 1st-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist. From the looks of it, Tang Ao could do whatever he wanted in this underworld Emperor Mountain Range. However, Tang Ao's style had always been low-key. Moreover, regardless of his previous life or current life, Tang Ao had always stuck to the principle of making a fortune in silence. After Wang Ming and Li Zhe left, Tang Ao brought Su Ning to follow the map of the ruins. Since Wang Ming and Li Zhe had left, Su Ning was a bit nervous. Although Su Ning could not see through Tang Ao's power, in Su Ning's opinion, Tang Ao was at most a 9th-level Origin Martial Realm martial artist. 9th-level Origin Martial Realm. If they were in the outskirts of the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, they would not run into too much danger. However, once they entered the depths of the mountain range, it would be extremely dangerous. Back then, the 10 of them had killed a lot of beasts in the outskirts of the mountain range. Therefore, they gathered their courage and entered the depths of the mountain range. In the end, not long after entering the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, they encountered a 1st-layer Sea of Soul Realm demonic beast. The 10 of them fought to the death and eventually sacrificed 4 of their companions to injure that beast. After this experience, Su Ning had a deep fear of the depths of the mountain range. Su Ning nervously looked around, but Tang Ao continued to walk forward. It was as though the ferocious demonic beasts in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range were nothing to him. Su Ning originally thought that Tang Ao was a perfect person, but now Su Ning felt that Tang Ao was too careless. This mountain range was full of dangers, but Tang Ao did not seem to care at all. Following Tang Ao did not give her any sense of security at all. Su Ning thought as she walked forward. When Su Ning raised her head, she saw Tang Ao staring at her. Su Ning unconsciously took a step back like a rabbit being stared at by a wolf. "Brother Tang Ao, what are you doing?" Su Ning's voice was a bit scared, as if Tang Ao was going to eat her. Tang Ao saw Su Ning's nervous expression and couldn't help but shake his head. "Sister Su Ning, you seem to have also cultivated Heaven Eye art?" Not long ago, Tang Ao had seen Su Ning use Heaven Eye art, so Tang Ao was a bit curious. But now that Tang Ao thought about it carefully, he realized that what Su Ning had used wasn't the Heaven's Eye art, but an eye technique that was even more powerful. Heaven Eye art? After Su Ning read it, she understood that Tang Ao had mistaken her Heaven Eye art for a technique called Heaven Eye art. Su Ning blinked her eyes proudly and said, "My eyes are called Heaven Eye art. Master said that my body is a very special one. If I can grow up smoothly, I will become very powerful in the future." At this point, Su Ning became discouraged again, "But my growth is not smooth at all. I really envy the disciples of those big sections." Tang Ao did not pay attention to Su Ning's words. After hearing Su Ning say that her eyes were the legendary heaven eye, Tang Ao was shocked. Although the sky polar eyes were not as rare as the hidden jade and stone or the heavenly phoenix spirit jade body, which could improve a martial artist's aptitude in all aspects, the sky polar eyes were still extremely rare. Chapter 427. This was because, unlike Tang Ao's hidden jade and stone body, the sky polar eyes could be transplanted. As long as a martial artist could control this power, they could make the sky polar eyes their own. In Tang Ao's previous life, there was a legendary expert who possessed the sky polar eyes. However, he was not born with the sky polar eyes. Instead, he had obtained it through extremely dirty means. Tang Ao looked at the pure and lovely, yet timid and cautious Su Ning and felt extremely speechless. She had casually mentioned the fact that the sky polar eyes could bring about a fatal disaster. However, she was extremely nervous about the non-existent dangers around her. However, this also showed that Su Ning trusted Tang Ao very much. That was why Su Ning had told Tang Ao such a secret. After learning that Su Ning did not cultivate a secret technique similar to the Heaven's Eye technique, but instead possessed the sky polar eyes, Tang Ao was secretly disappointed. Tang Ao had originally thought that Su Ning had cultivated a secret technique that was even more powerful than the Heaven's Eye technique, and wanted to learn more about it. However, after learning that Su Ning was born with the sky polar eyes, Tang Ao could only give up on this idea. Then, Tang Ao looked at the sword in Su Ning's hand. The quality of this sword was not inferior to Tang Ao's Sunshot Divine Bow. It was clearly not an ordinary weapon. Junior sister Su Ning, is this your usual weapon? If they did not fly at full speed, they would still need at least a day to reach the secret realm that Thundercloud had mentioned. Along the way, Tang Ao was rather bored, so he started chatting with Su Ning. No, this sword was given to me by Master for self-defense. However, I can't cultivate the sword technique that Master gave me, so I rarely use this jade water sword. As Tang Ao chatted with Su Ning's nervous expression gradually relaxed. As the conversation with Tang Ao deepened, Su Ning gradually became more talkative. However, Su Ning didn't say much, or it could be said that she just met Tang Ao not long ago, so she didn't know what to say. Therefore, whatever Tang Ao asked her, she would answer to Tang Ao. When Tang Ao did not ask, she would look around vigilantly, as if she was afraid that a demonic beast would suddenly jump out. However, Tang Ao's powerful soul power continued to envelop the surroundings. Therefore, Tang Ao knew that up until now, he and Su Ning didn't have a single demonic beast around them that could pass their eyes. Sword technique? What kind of sword art is it? It's so complicated. If it's convenient, can I take a look? The quality of the jade water sword in Su Ning's hand was extraordinary. Therefore, the sword technique that complemented the jade water sword must also be extraordinary. At this moment, it was rather boring to travel blindly. Therefore, Tang Ao wanted to take a look at the sword technique that Su Ning was cultivating. After hearing Tang Ao's words, Su Ning immediately took out a scroll of jade from her storage ring and handed it to Tang Ao. This is it. However, my master doesn't know this sword technique. After handing the jade scroll to Tang Ao, Su Ning began to look forward to it. Tang Ao's strength was extraordinary. She wondered if Tang Ao could take a look at this sword technique and give her some pointers. After Tang Ao received the scroll of jade scroll from Su Ning, Tang Ao was stunned after taking a look at it. This was because the words Violet Cloud Sword Technique were written at the beginning of the scroll. In this life, there were very few records of the Violet Cloud Sword Technique. However, in Tang Ao's previous life, this Violet Cloud Sword Technique could be said to be famous. Chapter 428. Tang Ao was originally just curious about Su Ning's cultivation method, so he casually asked. But at this moment, after Tang Ao saw that Su Ning's cultivation method was the legendary Zixia sword technique, Tang Ao also studied it very seriously. Tang Ao's cultivation system was the ancient god moving sky technique, so Tang Ao would not change to this Zixia sword technique. At this moment, Tang Ao was flipping through the Zixia sword technique because he wanted to get some inspiration from it and verify his martial arts. This jade scroll did not record many things, or it could be said that the Zixia sword technique's secret method was not complicated. Therefore, Tang Ao quickly read through this jade scroll, and then Tang Ao exchanged the Zixia sword technique into Su Ning's hands. Junior sister Su Ning, you must not show this Zixia sword technique to others easily in the future. Although the Zixia sword technique is now unknown, this cultivation method is still too shocking. Once it is discovered by someone with ulterior motives, you will be in danger. Tang Ao's expression suddenly became unprecedentedly serious. This sword technique was too heaven-defying, so Tang Ao had to treat it with caution. Su Ning heard Tang Ao's tone. Tang Ao seemed to have some understanding of this sword technique. Thinking of this, Su Ning asked with some anticipation, "Senior brother Tang Ao, you seem to have a good understanding of this Zixia sword technique. Do you know how to cultivate this Zixia sword technique?" When Su Ning asked this question, her heart was filled with anticipation and nervousness. She had been cultivating the Zixia sword technique for a long time, but there was no progress. During this period, Su Ning also consulted a lot of people, but these people did not understand the Zixia sword technique. Su Ning was a little hesitant. Should she change to a cultivation method that was easier to cultivate? Fortunately, at this time, Su Ning met Tang Ao, and from Tang Ao's tone, Su Ning vaguely felt that Tang Ao seemed to be very familiar with this cultivation method. In fact, Tang Ao's understanding of the Zixia sword technique was not much better than Su Ning, but Tang Ao had some understanding of the founder of the Zixia sword technique, the Zixia Dao Master. In Tang Ao's previous life, there was a rumor that there was a ruin that belonged to the legendary Zixia Dao Master. The Zixia Dao Master was a legendary Yin-Yang realm martial artist. Her ruin had appeared in the world. Yin-Yang realm martial artist. Ao Yin-Yang realm. However, after some exploration and breaking through the enchantment of the ruins, they found that it was not the ruins of the Purple Cloud Dao Sovereign, but the ruins of an astral-reaching realm martial artist. That cultivator had spent his entire life searching for Dao Master Zixia's ruins, but even after exhausting his entire life, he had failed to find any traces left behind by Dao Master Zixia. Even though Tang Ao did not obtain any heaven-defying treasures in the ruin, Tang Ao had seen through the information about the Zixia Dao Master. Although Tang Ao did not obtain any heaven-defying treasures in the ruin, Tang Ao had seen through the information about the Zixia Dao Master. "I don't know much about the Zixia sword technique either," Tang Ao said to Su Ning as he sank into his memories. Hearing that Tang Ao did not know much about the Zixia sword technique, Su Ning was slightly disappointed. But Tang Ao quickly continued. "Even though I don't know much about the Zixia sword technique, I have some impression of the founder, the Zixia Dao Master." Chapter 429. Junior Martial Sister Su Ning. The cultivation of the Violet Sunrise Sword Law is slightly different from ordinary cultivation techniques. If you want to practice the Zixia sword technique, you must first practice the Zixia sword heart. After that, Tang Ao combined his 2 lives of cultivation experience and his understanding of the Zixia sword technique to analyze the cultivation method of the Zixia sword technique for Su Ning. After listening to it, many of Su Ning's previous doubts suddenly became clear, and when Tang Ao explained to Su Ning, his own understanding of martial arts also rose to a new level. While Tang Ao and Su Ning were immersed in the legendary Zixia sword technique, danger quietly approached them. Su Ning was unaware of the impending danger, but Tang Ao didn't care at all. A group of martial artists gradually headed in the direction of Tang Ao and Su Ning. Tang Ao's soul power had been enveloping the entire area. Therefore, when these martial artists entered the range of Tang Ao's soul power, Tang Ao instantly sensed them. Although he didn't understand why the other party would come for him and Su Ning, he didn't know why. However, Tang Ao didn't care about this group of people at all. Instead, He focused on explaining the Zixia swordplay to Su Ning. When Tang Ao had just finished the last part of the Zixia sword code, Su Ning's expression changed, and then her pretty face turned pale. "Senior brother Tang Ao, we seem to be surrounded." Su Ning put away the jade slip of the purple cloud swordplay and drew her jade water sword. She looked around vigilantly. Tang Ao also stopped in his tracks. He crossed his arms in front of him and looked ahead without a care in the world. After Tang Ao and Su Ning stopped, 12 martial artists instantly appeared around the two of them. Su Ning immediately activated her sky polar eyes to check everyone's cultivation. The 12 martial artists were all at the 8th or 9th level of the Origin Realm. After seeing that she was surrounded by 12 martial artists at the 8th or 9th level of the Origin Realm, Su Ning started to be nervous again. Tang Ao did not look at the 12 warriors. Instead, he looked into the distance. According to Tang Ao's perception, just now, there were more than a few martial artists who had come this time. Tang Ao had just sensed that other than these people, there was still a peak level 9 Yuan martial realm warrior and 2 Sea of Souls realm warriors who had not appeared yet. Seeing that the other party didn't come out, Tang Ao's soul power instantly spread out in all directions like tide. Every blade of grass and tree within a 50-kilometer radius of Tang Ao instantly became clear, and the 3 cultivators hiding in the dark naturally had nowhere to hide. Although they couldn't sense Tang Ao's soul power, they didn't seem to have any intention of hiding it. As Tang Ao stared ahead, 3 martial artists walked up from the back of the crowd. After seeing the leading female dancer, Su Ning's pretty face turned pale. "Senior sister Su Mei, why are you here?" Su Ning seemed to be very scared of Su Mei. After seeing her, Su Ning's body started to shake slightly. Su Mei and Su Ning were not from the same martial school, but the martial school that Su Ning was in was not far away from Su Mei's martial school. Although the 2 martial schools did not have too many conflicts, there were still some small conflicts. And Su Mei was the head disciple of the other martial school. In the past, Su Ning had suffered quite a bit in Su Mei's hands, which had left a shadow in Su Ning's young heart. Therefore, when Su Ning saw Su Mei, she couldn't help but feel nervous. Before, when the head disciple Huiqing was there, Su Ning and the others were not Su Mei's opponent. Right now, there was only Su Ning and Tang Ao, so there was no chance for them to win against Su Mei. Chapter 430. Although the 3 shadow leopards were given to her by Tang Ao, her senior, Huiqing, and the others used their lives to exchange for them. Her sect was accepting more and more disciples, and the sect's usage was also gradually increasing. With the 3 shadow leopards, it could guarantee the sect's normal operations for the next 10 years. Su Ning really didn't want to give the shadow leopards to Su Mei. So, Su Ning subconsciously looked at Tang Ao. Tang Ao expressionlessly looked at Su Mei and the others. Originally, Tang Ao didn't know why Su Mei and the others suddenly surrounded him and Su Ning. But after hearing Su Mei's words, Tang Ao understood. Of course, Tang Ao didn't understand that Su Mei surrounded them for the 3 shadow leopards with the strength of the 9th level of the Origin martial realm. It was because Wang Meng and Li Zhe spread the news that they came. Back then, Wang Meng and Li Zhe wanted the 3 shadow leopards that Tang Ao gave to Su Ning. But after the 2 of them couldn't get them, they purposely spread the news. They also leaked Tang Ao and Su Ning's location to attract other martial artists to come and take the 3 shadow leopard from Su Ning. Su Ning was only at the 3rd level of the Origin martial realm. On the surface, Tang Ao was only at the 6th level of the Origin martial realm. 2 weak martial artists like them had 3 shadow leopards with the strength of the 9th level of the Origin martial realm. To the crowd of martial artists in the Netherworld Emperor Mountain range, they were, without a doubt, a fat sheep. So, other than those who had doubtful attitudes, the other martial artists nearby all hurried towards Tang Ao and Su Ning. There were 2 reasons why the martial artists that didn't come had doubtful attitudes. First, since Tang Ao and Su Ning only had this much strength, how could they kill a shadow leopard with the strength of the 9th level of the Origin martial realm? Second, Since there were people who knew that Tang Ao and Chu Feng had a shadow leopard with the strength of the 9th level of the Origin Realm, how could they leak the news out? Seeing Su Mei and the others surrounding her, Su Ning knew that she couldn't escape today. At this moment, Su Ning could only try her luck and discuss with Su Mei. Senior Su Mei, these 3 shadow leopards were obtained by me and Senior Tang Ao with great difficulty. Can I only give you 2 shadow leopards? I will definitely thank Senior Su Mei for your great kindness. Although Su Ning felt that it was a pity to hand over the 2 shadow leopards to Su Mei for no reason. If she didn't hand over the shadow leopards today, she and Tang Ao would never be able to leave this place. After listening to Su Ning's words, Su Mei was also stunned. Originally, Su Mei only wanted to humiliate Su Ning after knowing that she was weak. After all, from Su Mei's point of view, Su Ning was a weak martial artist at the 3rd level of the Origin Realm, and Tang Ao was only trash at the 6th level of the Origin Realm. No matter what, it was impossible for the 2 of them to get 3 shadow leopards with the strength of the 9th level of the Origin Realm. But what Su Mei never would have thought was that Su Ning really did have 3 shadow leopards on her. Junior Su Ning, do I look like I'm negotiating terms with you right now? Su Mei said with an ice-cold voice. Su Mei's ice-cold voice scared Su Ning so much that she shivered. However, Su Ning still timidly said, Senior Su Mei, right now, we have an appointment with Senior Thundercloud to explore a historical remnant. For Senior Thundercloud's sake, can you leave us a shadow leopard? Su Ning really wanted to leave a shadow leopard to bring back to the school to fill up the school's already tight funds. Chapter 431. After Su Ning said Thundercloud's name, a young man behind Su Mei sneered. If Senior Brother Thundercloud was here, I, Bai Shan, would still have to give him face. But right now, Senior Brother Thundercloud is not here, so it's a different story. Bai Shan's words seemed to be giving Thundercloud enough face, but from his arrogant expression, it could be seen that he did not put Thundercloud in his eyes at all. Su Mei looked at Tang Ao and Bai Shan coldly. When Su Ning said Thundercloud's name, Su Mei was still a bit nervous, but after hearing Bai Shan's words, she calmed down. Lei Yin was quite famous in this area, so Su Ning, this little girl, must be pulling a tiger skin to pull a flag. Tang Ao also did not expect Su Ning to care so much about the 3 shadow leopards. After spending time with Su Ning, Tang Ao knew that Su Ning was not a greedy girl, so there must be a reason for Su Ning to do this. Tang Ao did not plan to give the 3 shadow leopards to Su Mei in the first place. So Tang Ao looked at Su Mei and said without holding back, Don't block the way. I and junior sister Su Ning are leaving this place. Tang Ao said as he walked forward. After Tang Ao finished speaking, a sinister-looking young man beside Bai Shan suddenly laughed. Ha ha! Since when did Thundercloud's dog become so arrogant? Thundercloud might be someone in Junior Brother Bai Shan's eyes, but in my eyes, he is also just a dog. As Duanji spoke, his first level C of Soul's Realm power instantly skyrocketed to the 2nd level of C of Soul's Realm. Then a powerful spiritual pressure swept towards Su Ning and Tang Ao from Duanji's body. Feeling this spiritual pressure, Tang Ao wanted to take Duanji down. Before Tang Ao could attack, however, Thundercloud's figure instantly appeared between Duanji and Tang Ao. Senior Brother Duanji, I don't know how Junior Brother Tang Ao and Junior Sister Su Ning offended Senior Brother Duanji. I apologize on their behalf. When Su Ning saw the sudden appearance of Thundercloud, she was overjoyed. She hurriedly took her sword and stood aside with Tang Ao, ready for a fierce battle. Although with the addition of Thundercloud, her side was no match for Su Mei and the others. However, Thundercloud was a Sea of Souls realm warrior after all, so he could still give Su Ning a sense of security. When Su Mei saw the sudden appearance of Thundercloud, she was shocked. She originally thought that Su Ning was using Thundercloud's name to scare her, but she didn't expect that Su Ning would actually use Thundercloud as a backer. Then, Su Mei took a look at Su Ning's appearance and understood. Su Ning must have used some kind of dirty trick to get together with Thundercloud. Although Bai Shan and Duanji had also been pulled in her team by the same method, when she saw that Su Ning had also used the same method to pull a Sea of Souls realm warrior. Su Mei looked at Su Ning with a bit of viciousness. When Thundercloud appeared, Su Mei didn't dare to continue standing in front, so she retreated behind Bai Shan and Duanji. When Su Mei came to his side, Bai Shan grabbed Su Mei's waist and pulled her into his embrace. Junior sister Su Mei, with your senior brother Bai Shan here, this Thundercloud can't touch you. Since you want the Shadow Leopard, senior brother Bai Shan can go get it for you. After Bai Shan finished speaking, he pinched the soft part of Su Mei's body, causing her face to turn pale from the pain. However, Bai Shan kept his words and immediately charged towards Su Ning with a flash. Seeing that Bai Shan was about to attack without saying a word, Thundercloud was also about to attack, but Duanji's powerful aura instantly enveloped Thundercloud's body. Junior Thundercloud, you better not meddle in other people's business. Thundercloud's power was a bit stronger than Bai Shan's, but not by much. However, compared to Duanji, who was at the second level of the Sea of Souls realm, Thundercloud was far weaker. After Duanji suppressed Thundercloud, Bai Shan charged towards Su Ning even more unscrupulously. There was a ball of crimson flame in Bai Shan's hand. It was obviously a life spirit with quite a bit of power. Bai Shan was at the first level of the Sea of Souls realm, while Su Ning was only at the third level of the Origin realm. Under such a difference in power, if Bai Shan wanted to deal with Su Ning, there was absolutely no need for him to use his life spirit. Chapter 432. An incomparably sharp and cold murderous aura shot towards Tang Ao's face, causing Tang Ao's long hair to flutter. Facing Bai Shan's fierce and tricky attack, Tang Ao was not moved at all. He stood where he was and secretly accumulated his power. Inside Tang Ao's body, the battle Saint Bone life spirit suddenly had a glimmer of light. Then, this glimmer of light completely lit up the battle Saint Bone life spirit. At that moment, although there was nothing strange on the surface of Tang Ao's body, inside Tang Ao's body, the battle Saint Bone life spirit had already slowly merged with Tang Ao's limbs and bones. Tang Ao's limbs and bones also shone with a bright gold light at that moment. The gold light seemed to have a life of its own as it traveled around inside Tang Ao's body. After covering Tang Ao's body completely, it slowly gathered outside of Tang Ao's body. In the blink of an eye, this series of processes seemed quite similar, but it was completed in the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint. Bai Shan saw that Tang Ao was frozen where he was and thought that Tang Ao had been scared out of his wits. Even Su Ning, who was on the side, took out her long sword and wanted to save him. Originally, Su Ning thought that Tang Ao was at the 9th level of the Origin Martial Realm, so even if he could not win against Bai Shan, his life should not be in danger. But at that moment, Tang Ao was frozen where he was while Bai Shan's sharp claws were reaching toward Tang Ao's throat. If Bai Shan's attack landed, then Tang Ao's head would be separated from his body in an instant. Thundercloud, who was on the side, saw this scene and was secretly disappointed. He even felt a bit regretful. Originally, Thundercloud thought that Tang Ao was at least at the first level of the Soul Sea realm. But right now, Tang Ao was even weaker than Wang Meng and Li Zhe, who were at the 9th level of the Origin Martial Realm. Did I really make a mistake? Thundercloud thought to himself. As Bai Shan's ferocious claws approached, Bai Shan's figure also closed in on Tang Ao like a shadow leopard. A cruel smile flashed across Bai Shan's eyes as he watched the claws getting closer and closer to Tang Ao. Bai Shan had broken many warriors' necks. Tang Ao was not the first, and of course, he would not be the last. However, every time Bai Shan broke his opponent's neck, his heart would be abnormally excited. Although Tang Ao did not make any movements, Tang Ao could clearly see the cold, killing intent in Bai Shan's eyes. Tang Ao and Su Ning hadn't offended Bai Shan at all, but Bai Shan's first move was to kill. This was a person who devoured and killed. Bang! The imagined scene of Tang Ao's blood spilling did not appear, but Tang Ao's fist landed on Bai Shan's body before Bai Shan's claws could grab his neck. The second Tang Ao hit Bai Shan, A beam of gold light from Tang Ao's body also poured into Bai Shan's body, resonating with Tang Ao's punch. Compared to Tang Ao's previous attacks, this punch was too ordinary. It was like a punch thrown out by a secular martial artist. There was no beautiful spirit power shooting out, and there was no earth-shattering sound. It was just a normal punch. However, this punch seemed to carry Bai Shan's life force. Right then, Bai Shan looked at Tang Ao with a horrified expression. Bai Shan wanted to say something. He wanted to move his body. However, at that moment, Bai Shan discovered that he could no longer do so. As these thoughts surged through Bai Shan's mind, Bai Shan's body slightly trembled. Then, a cracking sound rang out, as if something had shattered. Bai Shan then saw the final scene of his life. He saw Tang Ao put away his fist with an indifferent expression, and the corner of his mouth moved slightly. Chapter 433. Tang Ao did not look at Bai Shan anymore. Although Tang Ao did not use his 7-kill holy way, a warrior like Bai Shan who attacked with every move was obviously not a kind person. After breaking all the bones in Bai Shan's body with one punch, Tang Ao did not feel uneasy at all. Bai Shan had already tried to kill Tang Ao. If Tang Ao was not a 3rd-level Sea of Souls Realm warrior but a 6th-level Origin Martial Realm warrior, then the one lying on the ground right now would be Tang Ao. Tang Ao was the one lying on the ground at this moment. Moreover, Tang Ao guaranteed that his death would not be any better than Bai Shan's. Even though the truth was right in front of him, Duan Ji still looked like he could not believe it. Bai Shan was one of the top warriors among the 1st level of the Sea of Souls realm. He was a famous warrior, but right then, an unknown brat had killed him with only one attack. Right then, Bai Shan was lying on the ground with blood flowing out of all his orifices. His body had also caved in. Obviously, that attack had already shattered his bones by Tang Ao. What kind of power was this? Even he could not do it, killing a 1st-level Sea of Souls realm warrior with one punch. When did such a powerful person appear in the Mingdi Mountain? Although Duan Ji was shocked, he still quickly used his soul power to cover Tang Ao. However, under Duan Ji's perception, although Tang Ao was not a 6th-level Origin Martial Realm warrior on the surface, he was only a 9th-level Origin Martial Realm warrior. A 9th-level Origin Martial Realm warrior killed a 1st-level Sea of Souls Realm warrior? If he said this, people would definitely think that Duan Ji was an idiot. But the truth was right in front of him, and he could not doubt it. Duan Ji and Bai Shan's relationship was not as good as it looked on the surface. In fact, because Bai Shan's style of doing things was too ostentatious, Duan Ji was even a bit dissatisfied with him. However, dissatisfaction was dissatisfaction. Even if Duan Ji had 10 guts, he would not dare to turn against Bai Shan. Although Bai Shan was an arrogant and domineering piece of trash, Bai Shan's elder brother, Bai Zhanyuan, was not the same. Bai Zhanyuan was now in the Underworld Emperor Mountain range, and he was already at the 4th level of the Spirit Ocean realm. If Bai Zhanyuan knew that his own brother had died here, and Duan Ji did not lend a helping hand, Duan Ji could not imagine how furious Bai Zhanyuan would be. Thus, a cold killing intent instantly burst forth from Duan Ji's body. Tang Ao had to die here today. Otherwise, Duan Ji, would not be able to answer to Bai Zhanyuan. As for Tang Ao killing Bai Shan with a single punch, Duan Ji quickly recovered from his initial shock. Just now, Bai Shan definitely thought that Tang Ao was only a martial artist at the 6th level of the Origin realm. So, when he was fighting against Tang Ao, he did not have his guard up. Although Duan Ji could not see through Tang Ao's true strength, from Duan Ji's perspective, he was at most at the 9th level of the Origin realm. A warrior at the 9th level of the Origin realm could kill a Spirit Sea realm warrior when the latter was defenseless. It was not that rare. Not to mention the Black-Yellow continent. Even in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, such things happened many times. So, when he saw Tang Ao killing Bai Shan, Duan Ji was indeed a bit shocked. But after thinking it through, the boundless killing intent on Duan Ji's body enveloped Tang Ao without hiding it. Chapter 434. Tang Ao also smiled at Su Ning. At the instant Bai Shan attacked, Tang Ao had wanted to use the 7 kills holy way to kill Bai Shan. However, just as Tang Ao was about to use the 7 kills holy way, the battle sage bone life soul in his body shimmered. It turned out that after Tang Ao's constant battles and multiple battles above his level, the battle sage bone life soul had advanced to the 24th firmament life soul. After the advancement of the battle sage bone life soul, Tang Ao also wanted to test the might of the 24th firmament battle sage bone life soul. Only after this test did Tang Ao realize how terrifying the battle sage bone life soul was. With the augmentation of the battle sage bone life soul, Tang Ao's physique, strength, and speed increased significantly. Just now, his punch had struck Bai Shan's heart. After his punch instantly shattered Bai Shan's heart, a hidden force that resonated with Tang Ao's punch erupted in Bai Shan's body, completely shattering all the bones in his body. Bai Shan had the intention to kill Tang Ao, and he had used a killer move the moment he attacked. It was only right for Tang Ao to kill him, but Tang Ao had no choice but to admit that such a death was too unsightly. After Tang Ao killed Bai Shan, Thundercloud instantly understood the situation. Immediately, Thundercloud retreated and came to Tang Ao's left. Standing with Tang Ao and Su Ning, they faced Duanji. Tang Ao was able to kill Bai Shan with 1 punch, so he already had the ability to cooperate with him. In that case, Thundercloud naturally had to stand on the same side as Tang Ao. At that moment, Su Mei suddenly shouted before looking at Tang Ao venomously. "You killed Bai Shan. You actually killed Bai Shan. I'll kill you." As Su Mei spoke, a grayish-white fox life soul possessed Su Mei. After the fox possessed her body, a tail immediately grew out from Su Mei's back, and sharp nails grew out from her hands. This is the life soul of the 18th firmament gray-tailed fox. Senior brother Tang Ao, be careful. Su Ning immediately warned Su Mei when she saw him summon his life soul. Su Ning and Su Mei's sex were next to each other. In the past, she had suffered at Su Mei's hands, so when she saw Su Mei summon her life soul, Su Ning was a little afraid. However, Su Ning suppressed her fear of Su Mei and summoned her life soul. Su Ning's life soul was some flowers and plants, as well as a rabbit. Although these life souls were very cute, their grades weren't high. Furthermore, the increase in Su Ning's combat strength was very limited. When Tang Ao saw Su Ning's life soul, he was secretly speechless. Su Ning's life souls could be said to be cuter than the other, but in battle, these life souls couldn't help Su Ning. After Su Mei and Su Ning summoned their life souls, Duanji also summoned his life soul. Duanji's life soul was a Ku Tuchuo. He wore a monk robe and held a staff in his hand. There was a string of Buddha beads around his neck. However, these Buddha beads weren't ordinary beads, but human skulls. Upon seeing Duanji's terrifying life soul, the timid Su Ning took half a step back. This was the Ku Tuchuo life soul. It seemed to have a life of its own as it glanced at Su Ning with a sinister look. There was nothing in its eyes, only a bone-chilling, killing intent. Monks were benevolent, but this life soul seemed to want to kill all living beings in the world. Under the gaze of this life soul, Su Ning felt as though she had fallen into an ice cavern as her body trembled. Chapter 435. But then, Su Ning realized that she was in Tang Ao's arms and immediately blushed as if she had fever. "Senior Tang Ao, is this your life spirit?" Su Ning wanted to divert her attention. At that moment, her pretty face was burning hot. Being in Tang Ao's arms made her feel very embarrassed. Luckily, after Tang Ao noticed that Su Ning had recovered, he protected Su Ning behind him. Duanji's life spirit was not a complete one. It was only a projection of the real one. This method was similar to the method that Qin Fengyin and the others used to summon their life spirits. Moreover, Duanji's life spirit was also from the 29th sky. Although Duanji had only summoned a projection of his life spirit, a 29th sky life spirit, even if it was just a projection, was not something that Su Ning, a warrior at the third level of the Origin Martial Realm, could handle. Not only Su Ning, but even Thundercloud, who was next to Tang Ao, felt the spirit power in his body become chaotic when he saw Duanji's life spirit. But after a flash of lightning, Thundercloud quickly recovered. Although the sect that Thundercloud came from was not a top force like the Black Yellow 8 sects or the Ancient Six families, it was still a big sect with thousands of years of history. Looking at the life spirit next to Duanji, Thundercloud said uncertainly, "Is this the 29th Sky Yama monk life spirit?" After saying that, Thundercloud's heart still could not calm down. Although Duanji's power was slightly stronger than his, he was only at the second level of the Sea of Souls realm. Normally, a warrior at the second level of the Sea of Souls realm would be able to awaken a 21st Sky life spirit. However, Duanji's life spirit was that of the 29th Sky. How could Thundercloud not be shocked? Tang Ao was somewhat puzzled that Thundercloud could recognize this life soul. Although it was also a 29th firmament life soul, compared to other life souls, the Yama monk life soul was rarer. Among the 29 firmament life souls, the Yama monk life soul was also one of the most difficult to awaken. However, Duanji had used some unknown method to communicate with this life soul in advance and could use a portion of its power. In his previous life, Tang Ao had fought a warrior who had truly awakened the Yama monk life soul. Although Tang Ao had eventually killed the other party, the power of the Yama monk life soul was still fresh in Tang Ao's mind. Tang Ao had no doubt that he would encounter a warrior who had awakened the Yama monk life soul in this life, but Tang Ao never expected that he would encounter one so soon. Thundercloud, this has nothing to do with you. Go to the side. After I kill Tang Ao, come with me to Senior Brother by Zhang Yuan to apologize. Then, this matter will be over. Although Duanji had summoned a projection of the Yama monk life soul, he still had no confidence in facing both Thundercloud and Tang Ao at the same time. Duanji was not very clear about Tang Ao's strength, but he knew Thundercloud's strength. Although Thundercloud was not his match, he would still have to pay a price if he wanted to kill Thundercloud. Now that Tang Ao was added to the equation, Duanji really did not have the confidence to fight 1 against 2. Su Mei was the first to activate her life soul, but she did not attack Tang Ao first after summoning her life soul. Su Mei's actions were mostly for show. Chapter 436. Tang Ao looked like he did not care, but Su Ning was secretly worried. Although Tang Ao had killed Bai Shan with 1 attack, Su Ning did not think that Tang Ao was more powerful than Duanji, who was at the second level of the Sea of Souls realm. Thundercloud was at the first level of the Sea of Souls realm, and Tang Ao also had the battle power of the first level of the Sea of Souls realm. If Tang Ao and Thundercloud teamed up, it would be hard to say who would win. But if Thundercloud really did not help, then Tang Ao and herself would be in danger. Right then, Su Ning was a bit regretful. Senior Brother Tang Ao, I'm sorry. I should have given her the Shadow Leopard. Su Ning's face was a bit pale. She did not expect things to turn out like this. But Su Ning also knew that even if she gave the Shadow Leopard to Su Mei, she would only be humiliating herself. Duanji would definitely not let her and Tang Ao go. After hearing Duanji's words, Thundercloud was still hesitating. Although he acknowledged Tang Ao's power, Bai Zhenyuan's name was not something to be trifled with. Bai Zhenyuan and Bai Shan were brothers of the same mother. Although Bai Zhenyuan did not like Bai Shan, the Bai family was famous for protecting their own. Today, Tang Ao had killed Bai Shan, which meant that he and the Bai family were mortal enemies. If he helped Tang Ao today, then he would offend the Bai family. He and Tang Ao were only partners. If he offended the Bai family, then no matter how much he gained from this trip, it would not be worth it. Thinking of that, Thundercloud looked at Tang Ao apologetically. Senior Brother Tang Ao, this is already beyond my ability. If we meet in the ruins, I hope to continue working with Senior Brother Tang Ao. After Thundercloud finished speaking, a playful smile appeared on Duanji's face. However, Thundercloud quickly added, Junior sister Su Ning, if you want, I can take you away from here now. Although Thundercloud did not want to offend the desolate ancient Bai family, the one who killed Bai Shan was Tang Ao. It had nothing to do with Su Ning. Therefore, when Bai Shan took Su Ning away, Duanji couldn't say anything. The reason why Thundercloud said such a thing was that he wanted to save Su Ning and sell Tang Ao a favor. Su Ning was only at the 3rd level of the Origin Realm. Her strength was too weak. If she stayed there, Tang Ao's hands and feet would be tied. However, if Bai Shan took Su Ning away, even if Tang Ao couldn't defeat Duanji, it shouldn't be a problem for him to escape. After Thundercloud said those words, Tang Ao slightly tilted his head. With Tang Ao's intelligence, he instantly understood Thundercloud's thoughts. Not only Tang Ao, almost everyone on scene could think of such an obvious thing. So, Sume immediately fiercely said, Thundercloud, although Senior Bai Shan's death isn't directly related to you, you and Tang Ao are special. You're also duty-bound. After speaking to there, Sume said with an ice-cold voice, if you're smart, quickly leave this place, or else don't even think of leaving today. After Sume finished speaking, the aura of the 12 martial artists at the 9th level of the Origin Realm who surrounded Tang Ao and the others shook. Clearly, Sume's words were not a joke. Even so, Thundercloud did not immediately leave. He looked at Su Ning. Chapter 437. Although Duanji had summoned the 29th firmament Yama, monk life, soul, Tang Ao thought nothing of Duanji. Although it was impressive to be able to borrow the power of a high-level life soul when one was weak, Tang Ao believed that there was no such thing in the world. The power of a high-level life soul was definitely not something that could be borrowed easily. Tang Ao still didn't know what method Duanji had used to summon this life soul, but Tang Ao wasn't afraid at all. Therefore, Tang Ao turned to Thundercloud and said, Junior brother Thundercloud, if we meet in the ruins, I'll help you once. The fact that Thundercloud was willing to take Su Ning away meant that although this person wasn't a good person, he was definitely not a bad person. Although Thundercloud didn't stay behind to fight alongside Tang Ao, if he met Thundercloud in the ruins, Tang Ao wouldn't mind helping him once. Thundercloud stopped in his tracks when he heard Tang Ao's words. He didn't understand if Tang Ao was putting on an act or if he really had nothing to fear. At that instant, Thundercloud even had the urge to stay behind and fight alongside Tang Ao. However, when Thundercloud thought of how his family couldn't afford to offend the primordial Bai family, Thundercloud left helplessly. Then I'll thank Senior Brother Tang Ao now. With that said, Thundercloud quickly left with a flash. After Thundercloud left, Duanji looked at Tang Ao with confidence. Although Thundercloud had promised not to attack, Duanji was still worried that Thundercloud would betray him, so he didn't attack Tang Ao. However, after Thundercloud left, Duanji no longer had any qualms. He was a little unhappy with Bai Shan previously. Now that Tang Ao had killed Bai Shan, it was in line with his wishes. As long as he killed Tang Ao, the murderer of Bai Shan, it would be easier for him to talk to Bai Zhan Yuan. More importantly, Su Mei next to him would belong to him in the future. This Su Mei was originally Bai Zhan Yuan's woman, and Bai Shan and he were both under Bai Zhan Yuan's orders to protect her. However, this woman had some tricks up her sleeve. In order to make him and Bai Shan listen to her even more, she also had an unspeakable relationship with the two of them. Senior Brother Tang Ao, what should we do? Su Ning asked timidly. Although she spoke righteously just now, it wasn't hard to imagine that when she was about to face death, Su Ning's heart was still a little afraid. Without waiting for Tang Ao to reply, Su Mei said in a stern voice, what should we do? You and this trash obviously have to die here. Su Mei didn't have the heavenly polar eyes, so she didn't determine Tang Ao's strength from Tang Ao's attack just now. Thus, in Su Mei's heart, she knew that Tang Ao was only at the 6th level of the Origin martial realm. Attack! Duanji spat out 2 words with a cold voice. Then he charged at Tang Ao. A golden light flashed on Tang Ao's body, and the battle sage bone life soul instantly possessed his body. However, just as Tang Ao was about to use his fists and kicks to kill, Tang Ao's expression suddenly changed. Although Tang Ao didn't have time to think, he grabbed Su Ning and flew into the sky. In the instant Tang Ao flew, Duan Ji thought that Tang Ao wanted to escape, but he suddenly felt a terrifying aura coming from below. Duan Ji also unhesitatingly grabbed Su Mei, who was beside him, and instantly flew up. In the instant Duan Ji flew up, a smelly, huge mouth suddenly rushed out from the ground below. Quickly after, it swallowed the 12 ninth level Origin Martial Realm martial artists and Bai Shan's corpse. It was unknown what monster had the huge mouth, but Tang Ao and Duan Ji could clearly feel that it was a monstrous beast from the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. Chapter 438. Even though Tang Ao's battle Sage Bone Life Spirit had advanced to the 24th heaven, it was instantly shattered by the attack of the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. At that moment, Tang Ao's battle Sage Bone Life Spirit turned into stars that kept escaping into Tang Ao's body. The bones in Tang Ao's back were all shattered by the attack. Even though Su Ning was protected in Tang Ao's embrace, under this attack, Su Ning's internal organs were still shaken by the demonic beast's powerful attack, causing her to spit out a mouthful of blood. Su Ning only suffered some internal injuries, but Tang Ao was severely injured. After flying for a distance with Su Ning in his arms, Tang Ao looked back with difficulty. Seeing that the unknown monster did not chase after them, Tang Ao heaved a sigh of relief. In an emergency, just now, Tang Ao did not have the time to think about what the monster was. Now that they had escaped the monster's attack range, Tang Ao finally remembered what the monster was. The monster with the strength of the 9th floor of Linghai Jing was called the Black Rock Earth Dragon. This kind of Black Rock Earth Dragon lived in the underground space and fed on the fire essence underground. Usually, when there was nothing important, the Black Rock Earth Dragon would not come to the surface. Just now, Tang Ao and the others were fighting in the Black Rock Earth Dragon's territory, so they caused the Black Rock Earth Dragon to come out. Of course, if it was just a normal battle with Tang Ao and the others, it would not have caused the Black Rock Earth Dragon to come out. After all, among them, Tang Ao, who had the highest cultivation, was only at the 3rd level of the Spirit Sea Realm. What really caused the Black Rock Earth Dragon to come out was Duan Ji's Yama Monk Life Spirit. The Black Rock Earth Dragon absorbed the fire essence underground to cultivate, so it was extremely young. On the other hand, Duan Ji's Yama Monk Life Soul was extremely evil, so the terrifying evil aura of the Yama Monk Life Soul made the Black Rock Dragon very uncomfortable. Therefore, the Black Rock Dragon beast immediately launched a fatal attack when it rushed out of the ground. After being hit by the Black Rock Earth Dragon beast, Tang Ao's spiritual energy was in a mess. His internal organs were also in pain, as if bone shards had pierced into them. Around Tang Ao's body, the faint green light of the Jade Bone Life Soul flashed, treating the complicated injuries in Tang Ao's body. After seeing that Su Ning was injured, Tang Ao also controlled his Jade Bone Life Soul to heal Su Ning. Although Su Ning was not hit directly by the Black Rock Earth Dragon beast, Su Ning's strength was too low. Even if it was just the aftershock of the Black Rock Earth Dragon beast attack that seeped in her body, it still injured her meridians. At this moment, Tang Ao had lost all feeling in his back. If not for the battle's Saint Bone Life Soul advancing to the 24th level, Tang Ao would probably have died there and then. After flying for a while with Su Ning in his arms, Tang Ao landed and put Su Ning down. Then, Tang Ao immediately sat down cross-legged to recover from his injuries. After landing, Su Ning's consciousness slowly recovered. The moment she was injured by the Black Rock Earth Dragon beast, Su Ning had fainted. After waking up, Su Ning was shocked to see Tang Ao covered in blood. "Brother Tang Ao, are you okay? You've lost a lot of blood." Su Ning looked at Tang Ao in fear. Before she fainted, she saw a monster jump out of the ground, and Tang Ao was hit by the monster. She also fainted the moment Tang Ao was hit by the monster. Chapter 439. Tang Ao was sitting cross-legged on a patch of grass, carefully controlling the jade bone life force to repair the damaged tissues and meridians all over his body. Just now, Tang Ao had vaguely felt that the broken bones had pierced through his organs. Now that Tang Ao looked at them, it was indeed so. With such injuries, even a Sea of Souls realm warrior like Tang Ao could die. Therefore, Tang Ao treated the injuries in his body even more carefully. Under Tang Ao's control, the jade bone life spirit was like a pair of gentle and nimble hands, connecting the broken bones in Tang Ao's body bit by bit. Then it repaired the cracks on the bones bit by bit. And finally, it was as good as new. As for the necrotic flesh on Tang Ao's back, under the nourishment of the jade bone life soul's warm spirit power, new skin grew out bit by bit. In the end, it became as smooth as before without a trace. After repairing the damage in these areas, Tang Ao started to repair the damage on his meridians. Tang Ao had lived 2 lives and experienced countless life and death battles, but Tang Ao's meridians had never been so seriously damaged. At this moment, all the meridians in Tang Ao's body had been shattered by the Black Rock Earth Dragon's attack. When the spiritual power flowed through his meridians, Tang Ao could feel waves of burning pain. While Tang Ao was recovering, Su Ning sat quietly at the side. She had experienced too many things in this period of time, and Su Ning was also a little absent-minded. While she was in a daze, Su Ning felt that there seemed to be a special life spirit in her body, but this life spirit was not awakened by Su Ning. Immediately, Su Ning was slightly shocked and then activated the sky polar eyes to look inside her body. In Su Ning's perception, she actually had an additional light green life spirit at this moment. This life spirit was extremely nimble, and it constantly wandered around Su Ning's limbs and meridians, repairing some of the hidden injuries in Su Ning's body. Seeing this scene, Su Ning screamed and hurried to Tang Ao's side. "Senior brother Tang Ao, this is bad. Your life soul has entered my body." Su Ning had previously seen Tang Ao's jade bone life soul, but at that moment, Tang Ao's jade bone life soul had run into her body. Therefore, Su Ning was somewhat afraid. Tang Ao slowly exhaled a mouthful of impure air. At this moment, Tang Ao's internal injuries had mostly healed, but due to the severe damage to his meridians, he couldn't use his full strength for a short period of time. The one in your body is the child life soul of the jade bone life soul. Just now, your meridians were severely damaged, so I used the jade bone life soul to split a child life soul for you. After you refine it, this life soul will be yours. Unlike other life souls, the jade bone vitality life soul was originally a 21st heaven life soul, and there was only one of it. In addition, the jade bone vitality life soul had a special ability that other life souls didn't have. That was, when the jade bone vitality life soul was nurtured to a certain extent, it could split. After the split, the child life soul had 1/10 of the jade bone vitality life soul's power. It was equivalent to a weakened version of the jade bone vitality life soul. Although it wasn't as powerful as the jade bone vitality life soul in terms of healing, this child life soul was still extremely rare. Chapter 440. Even though Tang Ao's injuries had yet to fully recover, Tang Ao still wanted to explore the ruins that Thundercloud had mentioned. Tang Ao didn't know where Thundercloud and company were, but since Thundercloud's goal was the ruins, Tang Ao believed that Thundercloud would head there sooner or later. Previously, Tang Ao had promised Thundercloud that if he had any difficulties in the ruins, Tang Ao would help him once. If he really met Thundercloud this time, Tang Ao would naturally fulfill his promise. "Senior brother Tang Ao, where are we going now?" Su Ning was delighted after receiving Tang Ao's jade bone vitality life soul. While walking in the underworld Emperor Mountain range with Tang Ao, she would summon the jade bone vitality life soul from time to time, letting it transform into a butterfly that danced in her palm. The butterfly formed by the jade bone vitality life soul also seemed to have a mind of its own. It flapped its wings on Su Ning's palm. "Let's go to the ruins that junior brother Thundercloud mentioned." Once we're done exploring the ruins, we should be able to leave this place. Tang Ao had previously deduced that the array had a cycle of activation. Based on Tang Ao's deductions, he came to the conclusion that the array would be activated every 30 days. Now, Tang Ao had been in the underworld Emperor Mountain range for a week. By the time Tang Ao finished exploring the ruins, the underworld Emperor Mountain range would probably open again. There were many treasures in the underworld Emperor Mountain range. When the underworld Emperor Mountain range opened, Tang Ao still wanted to bring Lu Hanxiu and Tang Hua in to search for treasures. Thinking of Lu Hanxiu and Tang Hua, Tang Ao began to worry. Tang Ao wasn't worried that Lu Hanxiu and Tang Hua would be at a disadvantage. Instead, he was worried that Tang Hua wouldn't cause trouble. Although Tang Ao wasn't afraid of trouble, he hated it. Lu Hanxiu, on the other hand, did not need to worry. Although Lu Hanxiu had also broken through to the Sea of Souls realm, Lu Hanxiu was kind and would not bully others. However, Tang Hua was different. Tang Hua was mischievous when she was with Tang Ao. Now that Tang Ao was not around, Tang Hua was even more lawless. Tang Hua was now a warrior of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. If any ignorant person offended Tang Hua, Tang Ao could only pray for that person. In reality, Tang Ao's worries were not without reason. At this moment, Tang Hua had her hands on her hips as she glared angrily at the group of warriors opposite her. Although Tang Ao had entered the underworld Emperor Mountain range for a few days, Tang Hua and Lu Hanxiu had not left the forest. Tang Hua was now a warrior of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Ordinary people could not see through Tang Hua's cultivation, but Lu Hanxiu had used a secret technique taught by Tang Ao to conceal her cultivation. Therefore, Tang Hua and Lu Hanxiu had become fat sheep in the eyes of the warriors. To be more precise, Lu Hanxiu had become a fat sheep in the eyes of the warriors. Lu Hanxiu's face was extremely pretty, not inferior to the #1 beauty of the 7 Kills sect, Luo Tsai. Although there were a few delicate and pretty female disciples in the other sects, they were still a little lacking when compared to Luo Tsai. Lu Hanxiu's beauty was comparable to Luo Tsai's, so she naturally attracted many malicious gazes. When Tang Hua went to the stream to catch fish, Lu Hanxiu was surrounded by a group of warriors. Chapter 441. Tang Ao was holding the map given by Thundercloud. At first, Tang Ao estimated that with his speed, he would be able to reach the ruins in 1 day. But now that he had wasted a lot of time, he might not be able to reach the ruins at the first moment. However, Tang Ao was not worried. According to Thundercloud, these ruins were left behind by an astral-reaching realm martial artist. Since it was left behind by an astral-reaching realm martial artist, there would naturally be a lot of treasures. But correspondingly, the danger level would not be low either. The first to enter the ruins might be the first to eat the crabs, or the first to die. Therefore, Tang Ao did not increase his pace. Instead, he leisurely headed towards the ruins with Lu Hanxiu. More importantly, the damage on Tang Ao's meridians had yet to recover. Once a battle broke out, Tang Ao would not be able to display his peak battle strength. If Tang Ao was alone, it would not matter. Once he encountered danger, Tang Ao would immediately run. But now, Tang Ao was carrying Su Ning, the little burden. Once Tang Ao ran, Su Ning's fate would be extremely miserable. Moreover, Tang Ao recalled Su Mei's threat just now. She said that Baishan had a big brother called Baijan Yuan, who seemed very powerful. The Bai family was also one of the 6 great families of the Desolate Era. Moreover, the Bai family was famous for protecting their own. Therefore, outsiders would not easily offend the Bai family unless they had no other choice. And now, Tang Ao had killed Baishan. It was undoubtedly a ruthless slap in the face of the Bai family. In the depths of the underworld Emperor Mountain, a demonic beast with the strength of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing collapsed with a loud bang. A dragon bone sawtooth blade was also slowly pulled out from the demonic beast's body. In the black-yellow continent, there were definitely many saber users. However, there were not many martial artists who used such a strange blade as a weapon. At least, there was only one in this underworld Emperor Mountain. This blade's blade was as thin as a cicada's wing, but the back of the blade was covered in dragon bone sawtooth. A slash from the blade could cut the opponent in two, and a smash from the back of the blade could shatter the opponent's bones. At this moment, the dragon bone sawtooth blade was in the hands of a white-robed man. His eyes were dark and arrogant. His appearance was 70% similar to Bai Shan, whom Tang Ao had killed not long ago. However, he was different from Bai Shan, who was at the first layer of the Sea of Souls realm. The man in front of him was at the fourth layer of the Sea of Souls realm, but his real power was at least at the fifth layer. Otherwise, this tyrant-level beast in the Underworld Emperor Mountain would not have died under his blade. This blade was called Dragon Bone Sawtooth Blade. The Xianhuang continent had always been ruled by the Xianhuang, 8 major sects, and the 6 great clans of the primordial era. Although there were countless sects and factions everywhere, the true rulers of this continent were still these 2 factions. In the past, the clan of the ancients did not have many talents, so they were suppressed by the 8 sections. However, in this generation, the clan of the ancients produced many talents, while the 8 sects were lacking in talent. Bai referred to Bai Zhanyuan, and Bai referred to Tang Ao's archenemy, Xiahou Linyuan. Bai referred to Bai Zhanyuan, and Xia referred to Tang Ao's archenemy, Xiahou Linyuan. Bai referred to Bai Zhanyuan, and Xia referred to Tang Ao's archenemy, Xiahou Linyuan. If anyone else offended these 2, they would be worried to death. Chapter 442. Tang Ao and Su Ning started a bonfire in the woods, and several skewers of Yingong pig meat were roasted on the bonfire. Tang Ao's cooking was not good, but the Yingong pig was delicious, so as long as Tang Ao roasted the meat, it would be crisp and delicious. Perhaps because she had experienced too many battles these days, Su Ning's tense nerves were slightly relieved after sitting down to eat the roasted meat. Tang Ao took out a pot of Long Quan wine and 2 wine cups from a storage ring, and drank with Su Ning. The moon tonight was exceptionally round. Looking at the hazy moonlight, Tang Ao could not help but miss Luo Tsai again. After drinking 3 cups of Long Quan wine, Tang Ao seemed to see Luo Tsai's shadow on the moon. Tang Ao shook his head and continued to drink. Su Ning seemed to have never drunk wine before, so Su Ning raised her cup and drank a big mouthful like drinking water. Wow, so spicy, senior brother Tang Ao. This wine tastes terrible. As Su Ning spoke, she constantly inhaled and fanned her tongue with her hand. Wine was spicy and dry, and this Long Quan wine was a treasure among wines, so the taste was even more intense. Tang Ao saw Su Ning's appearance and could not help but smile. This Long Quan wine was a treasure among wines, and even rich people might not be able to drink it. But Su Ning said that the Long Quan wine did not taste good. If this were to spread, thousands of wine lovers in the world would inevitably find Su Ning to argue with. Just now, Tang Ao thought that Su Ning had never drunk wine before, and now seeing Su Ning's appearance, Tang Ao was even more certain. But when Su Ning took out a pot of wine from her storage ring, Tang Ao's eyes trembled slightly. Although the jar of wine had not been opened, Tang Ao felt that there was something unusual about it. Ordinary wine was sealed with special clay, but this wine was sealed with high-quality beeswax. Junior sister Su Ning, what wine is this? As the son of a city lord in the secular world, Tang Ao had tasted many famous wines, but Tang Ao really couldn't recognize this jar of wine. Among the wines that Tang Ao had drunk, the Dragon Spring wine was already the best. Just now, when Su Ning said that the Long Quan wine did not taste good, Tang Ao thought that Su Ning had never drunk wine before. But at this moment, Su Ning actually took out a jar of wine, which meant that Su Ning had drunk wine that was better than the Long Quan wine. This wine is called the 100-Flower Dew. It is brewed under our sect's cold spring. When the founder founded the sect, he brewed 10 jars of this wine under the cold spring. But my status in the sect is ordinary, so this jar of wine was brewed by the sect's elders later and placed in the cold spring. I performed well in a sect competition, so the sect elders rewarded me with 2 jars of 100-flower dew wine. As Su Ning spoke, she poured a cup of 100-flower dew wine for Tang Ao. Tang Ao listened to the brewing method of this 100-flower dew wine and felt that it was very interesting. Just now, he heard Su Ning say that this wine was better than the Longquan wine, so Tang Ao couldn't wait to take a sip. As soon as the wine entered his throat, Tang Ao knew that Su Ning's words were not false. This 100-flower dew wine was soft and smooth in the mouth, with a mellow fragrance lingering in the mouth. There's also a heat that rushed to the organs, forcing out all the cold energy in the body. Not only was the taste good, but it was also very beneficial to cultivation, especially in a place like the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm, where the cold energy was abundant. The 100-flower dew wine was even more valuable. Although Tang Ao didn't drink the 100-flower dew wine, he could use his J-Bone Life Soul to constantly dispel the cold energy that invaded his body. But not all martial artists had the J-Bone Life Soul. Chapter 443. In addition to Tang Ao, most of the martial artists also noticed this problem, but they didn't have Tang Ao's J-Bone Life Spirit to resolve this trace of Yin Qi, so they could only constantly use the spiritual power in their bodies to force this Yin Qi out of their bodies. However, this couldn't completely resolve the cold Yin energy that had invaded the body. This cold Yin energy would still remain in the body of a martial artist. After Tang Ao drank a cup of the 100-flower dew nectar, he felt that the cold qi that had invaded his body was constantly being dissolved by the special heat of the 100-flower dew nectar. Under this heat, Tang Ao's body felt extremely comfortable. Tang Ao had a hidden J-body in stone physique to begin with the J-bone vitality life soul constantly nourishing Tang Ao's body, and the battle sage bone life soul strengthening Tang Ao's limbs and bones. However, after Tang Ao drank this cup of 100-flower jade dew, he still had a refreshing feeling. This meant that this 100-flower jade dew was extraordinary. If Tang Ao had such an effect after drinking it, then if other martial artists were to drink it, the effect would be even more extraordinary. From his previous conversation with Su Ning, Tang Ao learned that Su Ning's sect did not care about aptitude. It specifically took in some orphans who had lost their homes in the chaos of war and some children who had been abandoned for various reasons. So the food and clothing in the sect was a little tight. But after Tang Ao drank the 100-flower dew wine, he suddenly had a question. If the 100-flower dew wine was so extraordinary, why didn't they sell it to ease the sect's financial constraints? Junior sister Su, this 100-flower dew wine is extraordinary. I've tasted many famous wines and thought that the Dragon Spring wine was the best. But now that I've tasted your 100-flower dew wine, I find that the Dragon Spring wine is inferior. Hearing Tang Ao praise the 100-flower dew, Su Ning was also very happy. There were many disciples in 100-flower Valley, but in her generation, Su Ning was the only one who learned to make the 100-flower dew wine. Although the wine Tang Ao drank wasn't placed in the cold spring by Su Ning also participated in the making of this batch of wine. Seeing the smile on Su Ning's face, Tang Ao continued. You said before that the 100-flower Valley doesn't test martial arts talent when accepting disciples, and most of their disciples are war orphans. That's why the 100-flower Valley is short on funds. But I see that this 100-flower dew wine is quite extraordinary. Why 100-flower Valley doesn't sell it in exchange for spirit stones? Su Ning shook her head. The spirit herbs used to brew the 100-flower dew wine are extremely rare, and the brewing process is extremely complicated. Among the disciples of my generation, I am the only one willing to learn how to brew the 100-flower dew wine. Su Ning shook her head. The spirit herbs used to make the 100-flower dew wine are very rare, and the brewing process is very complicated. Among my generation of disciples, I'm the only one who is willing to learn how to make the wine. Hundred Flower Valley's Valley Master and a group of elders had thought of using the Hundred Flower Dew wine to maintain the sex operations, and they had tried it once in the beginning. But when the wine was being transported out of Hundred Flower Valley to be sold, it was intercepted halfway. The disciples in charge of transporting the wine were all killed. Thinking of this, Su Ning couldn't help but look distressed. Tang Ao saw that Su Ning was a little depressed, so he comforted her. There are countless treasures in the Underworld Emperor's mystic realm. When this mystic realm ends, your harvest will be enough to support your sex operations. As Tang Ao spoke, he handed a roasted pork skewer to Su Ning. Su Ning first poured a cup of wine for Tang Ao, then took the meat skewer. Chapter 444. After being with Tang Ao for such a long time, Su Ning gradually became more open. Su Ning found that Tang Ao was different from the other experts she knew. Not only was he extremely strong, but he also had a very good temper. Along the way, Su Ning sometimes worried to death when she did something wrong, but Tang Ao did not blame her at all. At this moment, in Su Ning's heart, Tang Ao was like her brother. Therefore, Su Ning was willing to tell Tang Ao some of her inner thoughts. Tang Ao heard that Su Ning envied the disciples of the big sects and shook his head slightly. Not all the disciples of the big sects grow up smoothly without any worries. Take the Seven Kills sect, for example. No matter what their martial arts talent is, they all start from the lowest outer sect disciple, then pass a series of tests, and finally be promoted to the inner sect disciple. Su Ning was very surprised after hearing this. No way. There's such a sect? The disciples of the Seven Kills sect are assigned to the outer sect regardless of their talent. In this way, some genius martial artists will not want to join the Seven Kills sect. Although Su Ning did not know much about the Black-Yellow 8 sects, Su Ning still knew that the Black-Yellow 8 sects accepted disciples according to their martial arts talent. Regarding Su Ning's question, Tang Ao did not answer. Instead, he asked, "Does junior sister Su want to join a big sect?" With junior sister Su's natural talent, no matter which of the 8 great sects it is, they will surely not refuse junior sister Su. Tang Ao did not talk nonsense. Su Ning's sky polar pupils could be said to be a special physique comparable to Tang Ao's hidden jade and stone and Luo Tsai's heavenly phoenix spiritual jade body. Once the sky polar pupils grew up, its attack power would be more overbearing than the hidden jade and stone and heavenly phoenix spiritual jade body. As long as they knew that Su Ning had the special physique of the sky polar pupils, the 8 major sects of the mysterious yellow world would fight fiercely to recruit Su Ning into their own sections. However, there had been no news of the owner of the sky polarity pupils appearing in the world before this, so the 8 major sects of the black and yellow world did not extend an olive branch to Su Ning. After Tang Ao finished speaking, Su Ning hurriedly shook her head. "I don't want to join a big sect. The Hundred Flowers Valley's Valley Mistress and the 3 elders are very good to me. And when I was abandoned, it was the Valley Mistress who brought me back to the Hundred Flowers Valley to raise me. So I want to stay in the Hundred Flowers Valley to take care of the Valley Mistress, so I won't leave the Hundred Flowers Valley." What Su Ning said was a sad thing. No matter who it was, if they were abandoned by their biological parents, they would feel terrible. However, when Su Ning talked about this, her emotions did not fluctuate much. When she talked about the Hundred Flowers Valley's Valley Mistress, there was a hint of warmth in Su Ning's eyes. Although they had never met, Tang Ao was sure that the Hundred Flowers Valley's Valley Mistress was a kind old man. After taking a bite of the meat, Su Ning continued, "If I could join one of the 8 major sects of the black and yellow world, I would like to join the Seven Kills sect, but a big sect like the Seven Kills sect would definitely not accept a stupid and untalented disciple like me." Tang Ao found it strange that Su Ning wanted to join the Seven Kills sect. Back then, Tang Ao had chosen the Seven Kills sect because he wanted to cultivate the 7 kills art of carnage. Now, not only had Tang Ao cultivated the 7 kills art of carnage, but he had also obtained the original form of the 7 kills art of carnage, the 7 kills divine path. However, Tang Ao did not understand why Su Ning wanted to join the 7 kills sect. Chapter 445. As for why Tang Ao couldn't figure out why Su Ning wanted to join the Seven Kills sect, Tang Ao could only ask Su Ning directly. Junior sister Su, why do you want to join the Seven Kills sect? Compared to other sects, Tang Ao's talent back then was enough to join any sect and become an inner sect disciple or even an inherited teachings disciple. However, after Tang Ao joined the Seven Kills sect, he was only an ordinary outer sect disciple. In the various large sects, the gap between outer sect disciples and inner sect disciples could be said to be like heaven and earth. After an outer sect disciple joined, apart from daily cultivation, they had to complete some missions issued by the sect. Through completing these missions, they could obtain sect points and enjoy the various resources of the sect. For example, they could choose martial techniques from the martial arts pavilion, choose divine weapons, listen to the teachings of the sect's elders, and answer their questions. However, it was very different for inner sect disciples. Inner sect disciples had specialized elders who explained their cultivation experiences and guided them in their cultivation. Furthermore, the sect would regularly distribute cultivation resources to inner sect disciples. Apart from that, inner sect disciples could also come into contact with manuals that were not open to outer sect disciples. It could be said that regardless of the sect, the treatment of inner sect disciples was completely different from that of outer sect disciples. And to become an inner sect disciple, or even a core disciple of a sect, the most important thing was martial talent. Other abilities weren't the focus. However, the Seven Kills sect was somewhat unconventional. As long as one joined the Seven Kills sect, regardless of how impressive one's martial talent was, they had to start as an outer sect disciple. Therefore, when Tang Ao joined the Seven Kills sect with his powerful talent of awakening a ninth firmament heavenly life soul, he was only an ordinary outer sect disciple. However, Tang Ao had his own plans back then, so he didn't hesitate to choose the Seven Kills sect. However, Su Ning didn't know much about the Seven Kills sect. As for the Seven Kills slaughter art and the Seven Kills sacred Tao, Su Ning might not have even heard of them. Since that was the case, why did Su Ning join the Seven Kills sect? This piqued Tang Ao's curiosity. When Su Ning heard Tang Ao's question, she answered almost without thinking, I don't know why either, but I feel like the Seven Kills sect is very fair. Regardless of family background or talent, all disciples who join the Seven Kills sect will be able to compete fairly in cultivation and improve together. Although I can't say for other reasons, I feel that the Seven Kills sect is pretty good. After saying that, Su Ning added, of course, it's impossible for me to join the Seven Kills sect. By the way, which sect is senior brother Tang Ao from? With senior brother Tang Ao's talent and strength, he must be a disciple of a large sect, right? Su Ning asked with some uncertainty. Su Ning was also very curious about Tang Ao's background. He was powerful, talented, and unrestrained, making others unable to fathom him. Before Tang Ao could answer, Su Ning seemed to have thought of something. One of the 6 great families of the primordial era is the Tang family. Senior brother Tang Ao was not afraid when he killed Bai Shan. Could senior brother Tang Ao be a disciple of one of the primordial era's Tang family? Su Ning's Hundred Flowers Valley was at the bottom of the Black-Yellow Continent's factions, but Su Ning had some understanding of the top disciples of the Black-Yellow Continent's 8 great sections. However, in Su Ning's memory, there wasn't a single top disciple with the surname Tang. Therefore, Su Ning guessed that Tang Ao was a descendant of the Tang family of the primordial era. However, the top disciples of the 8 great sects that Su Ning knew about were the few that had joined last year. Tang Ao had risen too quickly in the Seven Kills sect. Therefore, Tang Ao's reputation in the various sects of the Black-Yellow Continent was far inferior to that of Dong Xianyi and the others. Chapter 446. Back when Tang Ao and the rest were trapped by Qing Fingyin's hurricane array, Nan Xingzi and the rest could immediately tell that it was Qing Fingyin's doing. Even the life spirit used to arrange the array was clear to them. I'm not a disciple of the Tang clan. Tang Ao quickly denied Su Ning's guess, even though Tang Ao didn't understand how Su Ning could connect him to the Tang clan. Isn't senior brother Tang Ao a disciple of the Tang clan? But I feel that senior brother Tang Ao must be from a big sect. Although I can't see through senior brother Tang Ao's strength. He was able to kill Bai Shan in one strike, so he must be a Sea of Soul realm martial artist. Apart from the 8 sects and the 6 great clans, the other sects should have a hard time cultivating Sea of Soul realm martial artists. Su Ning's words were a rather helpless reality. Almost 90% of the cultivation resources in the Black-Yellow continent were in the hands of the 8 sects and 6 great clans. The rest of the smaller sects were divided equally among the countless smaller sections. This way, the bigger sects would grow stronger and stronger, while the smaller sects would never be able to make a comeback. The Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm could be said to be a great opportunity for the various powers in the Black-Yellow continent. Regardless of whether they were big or small sects, they could all send their disciples to the Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm to train. The Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm opened once every 10,000 years, and there were countless rare beasts and natural spirit items inside. As long as one could obtain something from the Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm and bring it back, one sect would rise to a higher level among the various powers in the Black-Yellow continent. If one obtained some incredible treasure in the Underworld Emperor's Secret Realm, it could even change the fate of a sect. The Dragon Transformation Pavilion, which was the enemy of the 7 Kills sect, wasn't one of the 8 great sects in the beginning. However, during one of the Secret Realms trials, the current sect master of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion discovered a pitch-black dragon skeleton and comprehended the dragon transformation art recorded on it. Thus, the Dragon Transformation Pavilion rose to become one of the 8 great sects in an extremely short period of time. Tang Ao hadn't gained much from this trip to the Netherworld Emperor's Mystic Realm. The only gain was awakening the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul in Qing Fengyin's Hurricane Array and allowing Tang Huo'er to take human form. Before Tang Huo'er took human form, she was very unruly. Now that she had taken human form, she was even worse. Tang Ao had been gone for so long, so he was really worried about Tang Huo'er and Lu Hanxiu. Junior Sister Su, do you have any goals for this trip to the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm? Tang Ao raised his cup of 100 flower dew nectar and asked Su Ning. Su Ning's 100 flowers dew was extraordinary. Tang Ao's meridians were damaged, so he could only use his Jade Bone Life Soul to slowly repair them. However, after drinking Su Ning's 100 flower dew, Tang Ao's meridians actually recovered more than 10 times faster. At this rate, Tang Ao estimated that his injuries from the Blackrock Earth Dragon would be completely healed in 2 hours. Chapter 447. Tang Ao hurriedly changed the topic when he saw Su Ning's gloomy mood. Junior Sister Su, you said that the herbs used to brew the 100 flower dew wine are extremely precious. May I know what spirit herbs are used? Tang Ao asked this question because he wanted to help Su Ning find some spirit herbs in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Many spirit herbs were extremely precious in the outside world, but in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, which only opened once every 10,000 years, they were as common as weeds. When Tang Ao mentioned the 100 flower dew wine, he successfully diverted Su Ning's attention. The 100 Flower Valley was most proud of its 100 flower dew wine. If the disciples of the 100 Flower Valley learned the brewing method of the 100 flower dew wine and had some spirit herbs to brew it, the 100 Flower Valley would be able to resolve its current predicament in an extremely short time. However, the most frustrating thing was that the brewing of the 100 flower dew wine was different from ordinary spirit wines. The brewing of the 100 flower dew wine required a special cultivation technique to ferment it. The difficulty of cultivating this cultivation technique was not low, and it consumed a lot of time. As a result, even though the 100 Flower Valley had more and more disciples, Su Ning was the only disciple of Su Ning's generation who was willing to cultivate the mystic frost qi and could even master it. The brewing method of the 100 flower dew wine was highly confidential in the 100 Flower Valley. Hence, when Tang Ao asked, Su Ning hesitated for a moment. However, after some thought, Su Ning still told Tang Ao, "Senior brother Tang Ao, the 100-flower dew wine's recipe is a secret of the 100-flower valley. I'll tell you, but you mustn't tell anyone." Tang Ao was stunned when he heard that the 100-flower dew wine was a secret of the 100-flower valley. Tang Ao had been curious about the brewing method of the 100-flower dew wine, so he had casually asked Su Ning about it. After hearing Su Ning's words, Tang Ao also realized that his words had been a little rude. Fortunately, Su Ning did not mind, and Tang Ao's intention was not bad. The main reason why Tang Ao asked about the 100-flower dew wine's recipe was to help Su Ning find the ingredients to brew the 100-flower dew wine in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. There are a total of 108 spirit herbs required to brew the 100-flower dew wine, but among these 108 spirit herbs, 105 of them aren't particularly rare, or perhaps you could say that they aren't necessary. However, there were 3 main spirit medicines that were extremely precious. The reason why the 100-flower dew nectar couldn't be brewed in large quantities was mainly because the sect's 3 main medicinal ingredients were almost exhausted. The 100-flower valley is already short on money, so they can't afford to purchase these 3 types of spirit medicines from other powers. As Su Ning spoke, she handed a prescription to Tang Ao. There were a total of 108 medicinal herbs on the prescription, but 3 of the rare medicinal herbs were specially marked. Tang Ao was speechless when he saw the 3 types of spiritual herbs. The medicinal effects of the 100-flower dew wine were extraordinary, but the spiritual herbs used to brew it were not ordinary either. Return spring grass, 9-yang ginseng, and white lotus fruit. When he saw these 3 spiritual herbs, Tang Ao understood why Su Ning's sect couldn't brew the 100-flower dew wine in large quantities. Disregarding the other supplementary medicinal herbs, just these 3 main medicinal herbs were priceless. Other than the Black-Yellow 8 sects and the 6 great clans, there was probably no other power in the Black-Yellow continent that had the financial resources to purchase these spiritual herbs, let alone Su Ning's sect. It was already very difficult for Su Ning's sect to brew a small amount of the 100-flower dew wine and pass down the brewing method. Chapter 448. Looking at the prescription in his hands, Tang Ao fell into deep thought. The 100-flower dew wine required a total of 108 spiritual herbs to brew, of which 105 were, just as Su Ning said, not considered very valuable. However, the return grass, 9-yang ginseng, and white lotus fruit were truly priceless. The return grass was known as a natural healing spiritual herb. As long as one consumed it, it could heal almost any external injury. It also had the effect of nourishing the organs and warming the heart and lungs. The 9-yang ginseng was a spiritual herb that grew in places of extreme yang. It could suppress and disperse some evil yin qi. The 100-flower dew wine could disperse evil yin qi. To a large extent, it had something to do with the addition of the 9-yang ginseng. Even though the 9-yang ginseng alone could disperse evil yin qi, it wasn't as effective as the 100-flower dew wine. Among the 3 spiritual herbs, the most miraculous was the white lotus fruit. This white lotus fruit looked like a white lotus the size of a palm. However, it wasn't a flower but a fruit. Compared to the return grass and 9-yang ginseng, the white lotus fruit wasn't inferior. The white lotus fruit had the effect of strengthening one's foundation. It could strengthen a cultivator's physique and nourish their internal organs. If an ordinary cultivator consumed a white lotus fruit, it would immediately have the effect of cleansing their bones and marrow. These 3 spiritual herbs were extremely valuable in the Black-Yellow continent. In the Black-Yellow mystic realm, where spiritual herbs were everywhere, they were also very rare. Tang Ao had been in the Black-Yellow mystic realm for a long time. He had seen some return grass and 9-yang ginseng. However, Tang Ao hadn't seen a single white lotus fruit. Tang Ao even suspected that there wasn't a spiritual herb like the white lotus fruit in the Black-Yellow mystic realm. When Su Ning saw Tang Ao frown, she couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Unlike Tang Ao, Su Ning was directly transported to the black-yellow mystic realm when she was transported to the black-yellow mystic realm. Therefore, she didn't know if there were any spiritual herbs required to brew the 100-flower dew wine in other places. After interacting with Tang Ao for the past few days, Su Ning had a better understanding of the other places in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Moreover, Su Ning knew that Tang Ao had been to many places in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm during this period of time. When Su Ning heard from Tang Ao that the Netherworld Emperor's Mystic Realm could possibly contain the spiritual herbs needed to brew the 100-flower dew wine, Su Ning's heart was filled with joy. However, after seeing Tang Ao's expression, Su Ning felt a little worried. Senior brother Tang Ao, are there none of the 3 main herbs in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm? Su Ning couldn't help but ask softly. As long as the Netherworld Emperor's Mystic Realm had the ingredients to brew the 100-flower dew wine, Su Ning would definitely go and search for them no matter what. With these herbs, Su Ning would be able to brew more 100-flower dew wine. After selling the 100-flower dew wine, Su Ning's sect would definitely receive a sizable sum of money. Tang Ao didn't expect Su Ning to be wrong. When he saw Su Ning's gloomy mood, Tang Ao said, "Junior sister Su Ning, the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm is vast. Even though I've been to many places, I haven't even explored 10% of the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Moreover, I've only been to a few places and I've already found returned spring grass and 9-yang ginseng. Even though there aren't many of them, it's still not bad compared to the black-yellow continent." Chapter 449. Tang Ao had been training in the black-yellow continent for so long, but he had never encountered spirit herbs like the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass. After entering the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, Tang Ao had seen the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass more than once. However, Tang Ao had the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul and the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul. The effects of the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass were of little value to Tang Ao. Even so, Tang Ao still had a clear impression of spirit herbs like the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass. If those spirit herbs hadn't been picked by other warriors, Tang Ao could even bring Su Ning to search for them. However, Tang Ao estimated that the chances of that happening weren't high. This was because not every warrior had Tang Ao's Battle Sage Bone Life Soul and Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul. Therefore, they weren't tempted by the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass. When Su Ning heard Tang Ao say that there was returned spring grass and 9-yang ginseng in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, her eyes lit up instantly. She grabbed Tang Ao's hand excitedly and asked, "Senior brother Tang Ao, is that true? You saw the returned spring grass and 9-yang ginseng in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm? Where did you find them? Can you let me take a look?" With regards to rare spirit herbs like the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass, Su Ning subconsciously believed that Tang Ao had collected them. Therefore, Su Ning wanted to see the age of these spirit herbs. Apart from a few rare spirit herbs, most of the other spirit herbs had better medicinal effects the older they were. After Su Ning asked, Tang Ao scratched his head awkwardly. "Junior sister Su Ning, although I saw the 9-yang ginseng and returned spring grass on the way, I didn't collect them." What Tang Ao said was true. Su Ning naturally didn't think that Tang Ao was lying. This was because there was a Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul in Su Ning's body. Senior brother Tang Ao, do you still remember the locations of these elixirs? When we get out of the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range, let's go look for these spiritual herbs together, okay? It was obvious that Su Ning had a strong desire for these elixirs. Even though she knew that there wasn't much hope, she still wanted Tang Ao to take her to have a look. If there was more time, Tang Ao naturally wouldn't reject Su Ning. But right now, Tang Ao was in a hurry to find the Wind Thunder Dark Cloud in Hades Emperor's underground palace, so he couldn't agree to Su Ning's request. "Junior sister Su, there are many martial artists who have come to the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. So much time has passed. Perhaps those spirit herbs have already been harvested by other martial artists. Since these two types of spiritual herbs exist in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm, as long as we roam around, we will definitely encounter these two spiritual herbs. However, the main ingredients for brewing the 100-flower dew wine require 3 different ingredients, and I've only found 2 of them in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. The brewing of the 100-flower dew wine required 9-yang ginseng, return spring grass, and white lotus fruit. These 3 main ingredients were indispensable. However, Tang Ao hadn't found a single white lotus fruit even after entering the Netherworld Emperor mystic realm for so long. Senior brother Tang Ao, it's alright. The return spring grass and 9-yang ginseng are almost equivalent in value. As long as we find enough return spring grass and 9-yang ginseng, we can use them to exchange for white lotus fruit with other martial artists. Return spring grass, white lotus fruit, and 9-yang ginseng were the 3 main ingredients for the 100-flower dew wine. Su Ning naturally knew their prices very well. However, what was more frustrating was that Su Ning couldn't afford these spiritual herbs. Chapter 450. Tang Ao knew that after the Mystic Realms trial ended, the participating disciples would organize a small-scale trade fair to exchange for the items they needed. Therefore, as long as one found one of the 3 herbs, it was very likely that they could exchange for what they wanted with others. However, Tang Ao still believed that the mystic realm was extremely vast, so there was definitely the existence of the white lotus fruit. Although Tang Ao had yet to see the white lotus fruit in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic domain, Tang Ao believed that since the fire dragon grass could be found in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic domain, even if the white lotus fruit was precious, it was impossible that it wasn't here. As Tang Ao pondered, Su Ning summoned the child life soul of the jade bone, flesh life soul. Although Su Ning hadn't obtained this life soul for long, Su Ning was already extremely familiar with its usage. Senior brother Tang Ao, why did you give me such a proper life soul? Su Ning transformed the jade bone flesh life soul into a pale green butterfly that flew between her fingers as she asked Tang Ao with a blush. The highest life soul that Su Ning had awakened was a 13th level life soul, and the child life soul that Tang Ao had given to Su Ning was equivalent to an 18th level life soul. Tang Ao's jade bone flesh life soul had already reached the 23rd level. Even if Su Ning hadn't cultivated the heaven evolution record and couldn't advance her life soul, Su Ning's Dao child life soul could still grow to the 23rd level. In a top faction like the 8 major sects of Black-Yellow, disciples who could awaken a 23rd level life soul were extremely rare. With this life soul, Su Ning's heritage far exceeded most disciples of the 8 major sections. Furthermore, Su Ning was a warrior with the sky pole eyes. Once Su Ning matured, it would probably be difficult to find an opponent in the entire Black-Yellow continent. However, Tang Ao was unable to provide much help to Su Ning regarding the advancement of the sky polar eyes. Although Tang Ao knew that this was a powerful physique that wasn't inferior to the hidden jade in stone body, Tang Ao didn't know much about the sky polar eyes. As for why Tang Ao wanted to give the jade bone flesh life soul's child life soul to Su Ning, Tang Ao thought for a moment and said, I think junior sister Su Ning is rather cute. So, I gave the jade bone flesh life soul to junior sister Su Ning as a gift. How will junior sister Su Ning thank me? Tang Ao had the intention to tease Su Ning, so he looked at her maliciously. Tang Ao's fiery gaze gave Su Ning a fright. Then, crystalline tears appeared in Su Ning's eyes. I knew it. Senior brother Tang Ao, I don't want this life soul anymore. Don't bully me. With that said, Su Ning hurriedly controlled the jade bone flesh life soul to fly to Tang Ao's side. Tang Ao never expected Su Ning to be so naive. She didn't even know that he was joking with her. In his previous life, Tang Ao had been invincible for half his life and alone for the rest of his life. Although he led a carefree and happy life, he was ultimately alone. In this life, Tang Ao decided to have a younger sister, Su Ning, who was standing in front of him. With this in mind, Tang Ao got up and wiped Su Ning's tears before touching Su Ning's forehead. I was just joking with you. Don't worry. As long as I'm around, no one can bully you. Su Ning suddenly laughed through her tears. Senior brother Tang Ao, so you like me? Tang Ao's bold words sounded like the murmurs of lovers in Su Ning's ears. After hearing Tang Ao's words, Su Ning's face instantly blushed. Tang Ao knew that Su Ning had misunderstood again, so he hurriedly explained, "What I mean is that I will protect junior sister Su as my own sister in the future." Chapter 451. Seeing Su Ning's innocent and cute look, Tang Ao couldn't help but think of Tang Hua. Now that Tang Ao had been in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range for quite some time, Tang Ao was a bit worried that Tang Hua might have caused some trouble outside. If he were to incur the wrath of the crowd and be treated as a demonic beast, Tang Ao would definitely cry. Thinking about that, Tang Ao couldn't help but shake his head. Tang Hua, of course, would not disappoint Tang Ao. Right then, there were already a bunch of warriors lying on the ground. They had all lost the ability to fight, but their lives were not in danger. These fallen warriors all had two things in common. One was that they all had bad intentions towards Lu Hanxiu, and the other was that they were all burned. After all, the name of the burning flame real dragon was not just for show. Tang Hua blew out a wisp of flame on her finger. Then, she looked at the pile of warriors lying on the ground with ill intentions. All of you had designs on my sister Lu Hanxiu just now, right? Let me tell you, sister Lu Hanxiu is mine. Tell me, how do you want to die? After Tang Hua said that, a flame suddenly rose from her tiny hand. After saying that, Tang Hua carefully took out a dragon fruit from her storage ring. Back then, Tang Ao gave Tang Hua 4 dragon fruits, while Jin Yiru gave Tang Hua 10. Tang Hua had been saving for the past few days, but this dragon fruit was the last one. After taking out the dragon fruit, Tang Hua looked at it and swallowed her saliva. Thinking that Tang Ao wasn't here and Jin Yiru didn't have any dragon fruit, Tang Hua only kissed the dragon fruit. In the end, Tang Hua only kissed the fire dragon fruit and kept it as if it was a treasure. Lu Hanxiu and Jin Yiru felt that Tang Hua was very cute like this, but when the warriors on the ground saw Tang Hua, fear appeared in their eyes. Right then, there were 15 warriors lying on the ground. 8 of them were at the 9th level of the Origin Realm, and 7 of them were at the 1st level of the Sea of Souls Realm. These martial artists had come out of the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range previously. This time, they were preparing to enter the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range to search for opportunities. Originally, after breaking through to their current level, everyone had become a little arrogant. Outside the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range, he had also bullied many martial artists who had yet to enter the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range. After seeing the indescribably beautiful Lu Hanxiu today, the few of them had some wicked ideas. He had wanted to have some fun, but he ended up in the hands of Tang Hua. Where did that stinky Tang Ao go? I don't even have any more dragon fruits to eat. In Tang Hua's heart, when Tang Ao had the dragon fruit, he was Tang Ao's brother. Once he finished eating the dragon fruit, he was stinky Tang Ao. Back when she had yet to transform, Tang Ao had bullied her many times. In the past, Tang Ao had treated her badly. Tang Hua thought that Tang Ao had left a shadow in her young heart. If it weren't for the fact that Tang Hua wasn't sure if she could beat Tang Ao, she would have already beaten Tang Ao up. As Tang Hua was thinking, she suddenly fiercely bit the dragon fruit in her hand. When the fragrant and sweet juice of the dragon fruit blossomed in her mouth, Tang Hua suddenly came back to her senses. Looking at the dragon fruit in her hand that was bitten, Tang Hua instantly became angry. Tang Hua pointed at the warriors on the ground and said, "It's all your fault. My dragon fruit has been bitten. If you can't pay, I'll burn you all to ashes. I'm so angry." Chapter 452. Tang Ao stretched lazily. Although it was very uncomfortable to sit in this position, Tang Ao had no intention of getting up. At this moment, Su Ning, the little drunk cat, was already in Tang Ao's arms. Although the 100-flower dew wine tasted good, it had a stronger after effect than the dragon spring wine. Su Ning's cultivation level was too low, and the after effect of the 100-flower dew wine was too strong. Hence, Su Ning was drunk after 3 cups. Su Ning was a little timid, and faced many things with timidity. After falling asleep, Su Ning would curl up her body from time to time, as though there was something scary in the outside world that wanted to hurt her. At this moment, Su Ning grabbed onto Tang Ao's arm tightly, and her body was trembling slightly. When Tang Ao saw Su Ning like this, he immediately knew that Su Ning was having a nightmare. At this moment, Tang Ao took off his robe, draped it over Su Ning, and hugged Su Ning in his arms. After feeling the warmth of the outside world, Su Ning gradually calmed down. Just now, Su Ning really had a nightmare. Su Ning was a little timid, and even in her dreams, she would be scared by many things. But at this moment, Su Ning felt her body warm, as though she was wrapped up by something. This feeling was very comforting. In the past, Su Ning only had this feeling when she slept with the head grandma when she was young. In Tang Ao's arms, Su Ning slept very soundly. After entering the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, Su Ning had been on tenterhooks and had not had a good rest. Now that her tense nerves had relaxed, Su Ning should be very relaxed. Even though Su Ning had fallen asleep, her lips were still slightly curved. This time, it was clear that she had dreamed of something happy. After Su Ning fell asleep, Tang Ao took the half-empty bottle of 100-flower dew wine and drank it. The after effect of the wine was extremely strong, but with Tang Ao's 3rd level of Seas of Soul's realm cultivation, this little bit of after effect could be easily resisted by Tang Ao. According to Su Ning, the 100-flower dew wine in Tang Ao's hand was brewed with only 30% of the mysterious cold qi, so the taste was only considered to be below average. If the 100-flower dew wine was brewed with 30% or more of the mysterious cold qi, the 100-flower dew wine would taste better. However, Su Ning had only cultivated the mystic cold qi to the 3rd level, so Su Ning could not brew a better wine in a short period of time. At this moment, Tang Ao was holding a piece of parchment and a scroll of jade in his hands. The recipe for the 100-flower dew wine was naturally written on the parchment, and the cultivation method for the mysterious cold qi was written on the jade slip. Different from the brewing and fermentation methods of normal spirit wines, the 100-flower dew wine was fermented at an extremely rare ultra-low temperature. And the mysterious cold qi was an important method to keep the 100-flower dew wine at an ultra-low temperature. In addition, the mysterious cold qi had to continuously extract the essence of all kinds of spirit herbs and merge them into the 100-flower dew wine. The purer the extracted essence, the higher the quality of the 100-flower dew wine. Tang Ao looked through the jade slip with the mysterious cold qi cultivation method and found that the mysterious cold qi was not like what Su Ning had said, that it could only be used to brew the 100-flower dew wine and could not be used against enemies. Tang Ao held Su Ning in his arms and jumped down from the tree. Tang Ao was ready to test the effect of the mysterious cold qi against enemies. After putting Su Ning on the grass to sleep, Tang Ao set up a defensive array around Su Ning and was ready to find a beast to test the power of the mysterious cold qi. To be precise, this mysterious cold qi was not inferior to a cultivation method, nor was it a martial skill, but a secret technique. Most secret techniques were used to strengthen the martial artist or weaken the opponent. It was the first time that Tang Ao had seen a secret technique like the mysterious cold qi that was so aggressive. Chapter 453. While Tang Ao was searching, his heart suddenly stirred. Following that, a golden light flashed on Tang Ao's body as the battle sage bone life soul instantly possessed him. As for a fanged snake at the 9th level of the origin martial realm, it was sent flying by Tang Ao's battle sage bone life soul. Even 2 of its poison pills were broken. After the fanged snake was severely injured by Tang Ao's battle, Sagebone Life's soul, it instantly tried to escape. Tang Ao obviously would not let a demonic beast that took the initiative to attack him escape. The fanged snake's long tail twitched on the ground and instantly shot out 10 feet away. However, Tang Ao did not immediately chase after it. Instead, he constantly condensed frost chi in his right hand. Just as Tang Ao was about to strike out with the frost chi, his heart suddenly stirred. Following that, he blasted out a wave of frost chi with his left palm, freezing the fleeing fanged snake into ice. With a kacha sound, the ice shattered into a pile of ice shards. The fanged snake that was sealed by the frost chi also turned into a pile of minced meat. However, Tang Ao did not stop attacking. Just now, Tang Ao had been condensing frost chi on his right hand. At that moment, the frost chi on Tang Ao's right hand was almost reaching the limit of the frost chi that Tang Ao could control. Moreover, 60% of the spirit power in Tang Ao's body had been sucked away by the frost chi. Roar! With a roar, Tang Ao struck out with the frost chi on his right hand. And after Tang Ao struck out with the frost chi, a third-level spirit sea realm demonic beast, the three-tailed snow wolf, was sealed by Tang Ao's frost chi. However, Tang Ao did not kill the three-tailed snow wolf. Instead, he used the frost chi to seal it. When Tang Ao circulated the frost chi, the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. A layer of frost formed on the trees and weeds. When Suning was sleeping soundly, she suddenly felt colder and colder, so she woke up. As soon as Suning opened her eyes, she saw a three-tailed snow wolf at the third level of Seas of Souls realm trying to sneak attack Tang Ao. Right then, a snow pattern appeared in Suning's sky polar pupil, freezing the wolf. It was just that when Suning was using the sky polar eyes, Tang Ao was also using the mystical frost chi, so Suning didn't know whether it was she or Tang Ao who had frozen the three-tailed snow wolf. But after thinking about it carefully, Suning felt that it was impossible. Suning had already cultivated the profound cold chi to the third level, but Suning still felt that the profound cold chi was not lethal at all. As for freezing the three-tailed snow wolf herself, Suning also felt that it was impossible. Suning was only at the third level of Origin Martial Realm. It would be impossible for her to freeze a third-level Sea of Souls Realm Snow Wolf with that kind of power. But right now, the three-tailed snow wolf was frozen, so Suning was very confused. Tang Ao looked at the three-tailed snow wolf that was sealed by the mystical frost chi and was amazed. Just now, Tang Ao's mystical frost chi had indeed sealed the three-tailed snow wolf, but this three-tailed snow wolf was naturally gifted with the ice element. Therefore, the instant the three-tailed snow wolf was sealed by Tang Ao, it actually shattered Tang Ao's mystical frost chi. Then, Tang Ao prepared to take out his Sunshot Divine Bow to kill the three-tailed snow wolf. But at that moment, a snowflake pattern suddenly flashed in Suning's eyes, and then the three-tailed snow wolf was completely sealed. Tang Ao waved his hand, and the three-tailed snow wolf that was sealed by the mystical frost chi floated next to Tang Ao. Then, a golden light flashed on Tang Ao's body, and then Tang Ao arrived in front of Suning. After walking closer, Tang Ao stared at Suning's eyes again, but the strangeness from before had already disappeared. Without a doubt, Suning's move was one of the abilities of the Sky Polar Eyes. Chapter 454. Therefore, this three-tailed snow wolf was only frozen at this moment, and did not die like the Fang Viper. Although the three-tailed snow wolf had been frozen into an ice cube by the mystic frost chi, its five senses were still present. Furthermore, the three-tailed snow wolf already possessed considerable intelligence. Once it successfully transformed, it would be another troublemaker like Tang Hua. You tried to sneak attack me just now. I will let you live, but you have to make a spirit beast contract with me, Sister Suning. Are you willing? Tang Ao looked at the three-tailed snow wolf and asked. Although the three-tailed snow wolf was sealed by the profound cold chi, it could clearly hear Tang Ao's words. After Tang Ao finished, the wolf looked angry. It was obvious that it did not want to make a spirit-beast contract with a human. Tang Ao and Tang Horror had made a spirit-beast contract. Once Tang Ao died, although Tang Horror would not die, she would be severely wounded. On the other hand, if something happened to Tang Horror, although Tang Ao would not die, he would be horribly wounded. Although Tang Horror often went against Tang Ao, if something really happened, she would still help without hesitation. Of course, if there were a couple of fire dragon fruits as a reward, it would be even better. Brother Tang Ao, it does not want to make a spirit beast contract with me. Can you not kill it? Suning looked at the three-tailed snow wolf that was frozen by Tang Ao's cold chi. She thought it was very cute and did not want to kill it. Although most of the beasts were violent and murderous, most of them looked very cute when they were young. This three-tailed snow wolf was one of them. Although this wolf already had the power of the third level of the Sea of Souls realm, it was still a young one. Plus, Tang Ao was sure that once it transformed, it would be a kid like Tang Horror. Although Tang Ao did not want to kill the three-tailed snow wolf, Tang Ao did not want to let it go so easily. With the approval of both parties, the spirit beast contract formed would be more stable, but it was not impossible to forcefully form a spirit beast contract. Suning's strength was too weak, and she had a special physique like the heavenly polar pupils. After Suning and the three-tailed snow wolf formed a spiritual beast contract, the three-tailed snow wolf could also protect Suning. In a short period of time, Suning's strength could not increase too much, and Tang Ao could not always be by Suning's side, so it was necessary for Suning to form a spiritual beast contract with this three-tailed snow wolf. Moreover, from Tang Ao's point of view, a spirit beast contract between a demonic beast and a martial artist was beneficial to both parties. When Tang Horror formed the contract with Tang Ao, she was only at the first level of the origin martial realm. But now, Tang Horror was already a martial artist of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing, and her cultivation was even stronger than Tang Ao's. The only flaw was that Tang Horror was too disobedient. Since junior sister Su Ning begged for mercy, I will let you go this time. But you attacked me first. Although you did not succeed, I will still give you a punishment. I won't undo the seal on your profound cold chi. You are an ice-attributed demon beast, so this bit of cold chi won't be able to do anything to you. After Tang Ao finished speaking, he turned to Su Ning and said, Junior sister Su, let's go. Chapter 455. Junior sister Su, life and death are decreed by fate. We have already decided not to kill it, and it doesn't want to sign a contract with you, so I can't do anything about it. Just now, it was careless and was sealed by my cold chi. Now that I let it out, it will inevitably be a fierce battle. Don't be fooled by its appearance. It is still a third-level Sea of Souls realm beast. Once it comes out, I might not be able to catch it. As Tang Ao spoke, he was about to pull Su Ning away, but Tang Ao seemed to have suddenly thought of something. Junior sister Su, under my soul power perception, there are 3 second-level Sea of Souls realm and 1 third-level Sea of Souls realm beast in this area. We should leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, if we run into these horrifying beasts, we won't be able to leave even if we want to. After hearing this, Suning's little heart also started beating rapidly. Then, Suning glanced at the three-tailed snow wolf. Senior brother Tang Ao, we should leave quickly. Its companions might come to save it soon. Suning subconsciously thought that these beasts were a group, but Sea of Souls realm beasts all had their own king. They either did not offend each other, or they were mortal enemies. As Suning spoke, Tang Ao noticed that the three-tailed snow wolf's eyes were flickering. It was obviously a bit guilty. Moreover, the three-tailed snow wolf's eyes unconsciously revealed a bit of worry. Tang Ao originally thought that the three-tailed snow wolf was worried about him, but Tang Ao realized that the three-tailed snow wolf's attention was on the place where Tang Ao had frozen it. Seeing this, Tang Ao was dazed. Could it be that this three-tailed snow wolf had companions? You have brothers and sisters in this forest? Tang Ao thought about it and asked a question that Tang Ao thought was reasonable. After Tang Ao asked, the three-tailed snow wolf suddenly calmed down. Seeing the change in the three-tailed snow wolf, Tang Ao knew that he had guessed correctly. Just as Tang Ao was about to ask, the three-tailed snow wolf suddenly spoke. The three-tailed snow wolf's voice was crisp and clear, very similar to Tang Hua-er's baby voice. According to the voice, this three-tailed snow wolf would be a little sister like Tang Hua-er. I'm willing to form a contract with your junior sister, but you have to save my sister first. She's been bitten by a silver fong viper. As the three-tailed snow wolf spoke, its intelligent eyes looked at Tang Ao. In the three-tailed snow wolf's memory, human cultivators were extremely cunning. It wanted to glean some information from Tang Ao's eyes. I agree to your request. We can save your sister first, but you have to form a spirit beast contract with my junior sister Sue afterward. Tang Ao did not force the three-tailed snow wolf to form a spirit beast contract with Su Ning first. Tang Ao had the jade bone flesh life soul, so detoxification was a piece of cake. At the same time, Tang Ao was not afraid that the three-tailed snow wolf would play tricks. At that moment, Tang Ao had already grasped the usage of the mystic frost chi. Furthermore, before the three-tailed snow wolf and Su Ning formed a spirit beast contract, Tang Ao did not plan on releasing the mystic frost chi that sealed the three-tailed snow wolf. Chapter 456. When Tang Ao first entered the forest, he did a rough scan of the surrounding demonic beasts. Under Tang Ao's perception, there were many powerful demonic beasts hidden in this inconspicuous forest. The reason why he agreed to help the three-tailed snow wolf was so that the three-tailed snow wolf could successfully sign a spiritual beast contract with Su Ning. This would ensure Su Ning's safety. If Su Ning was injured in this forest, it would go against Tang Ao's original intentions. As for Su Ning being killed by the demonic beasts in this forest, Tang Ao had never thought about this problem. With Tang Ao by Su Ning's side, if Su Ning was killed by the demonic beasts here, then the spiritual beast contract between Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf would be useless. After all, this three-tailed snow wolf couldn't even withstand a single move from Tang Ao not long ago. Although the three-tailed snow wolf was careless, and with the help of Su Ning's sky-polar eyes, Tang Ao was able to capture it alive. However, if Tang Ao wanted to kill the three-tailed snow wolf, he could use the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul to blast the three-tailed snow wolf into ice shards the instant the mysterious frost chi froze the three-tailed snow wolf. Although Tang Ao wasn't afraid of the various demonic beasts in the forest, he still had to be cautious. At this moment, Tang Ao and Tang Ao were walking in the forest, and Tang Ao's soul power enveloped the surroundings. Tang Ao didn't restrain his aura at all. At this time, Tang Ao didn't want any demonic beast to affect him. Therefore, when the surrounding demonic beasts felt Tang Ao's powerful aura, they all distanced themselves from Tang Ao. And when Tang Ao passed through their territory, some of the more powerful demonic beasts warned him. The deeper Tang Ao went, the more he discovered the different types of demonic beasts in this forest. Halfway through the journey, Tang Ao had already discovered quite a number of 80 types of demon beasts. Some of these demonic beasts were strong, while others were weak. Some roamed the forest in groups of 3 to 5, while others occupied a territory alone. After Tang Ao took a few more steps, he suddenly stopped. Then, Tang Ao shielded Su Ning behind him. Because in Tang Ao's perception, there was a group of fanged vipers gathering around Tang Ao and his companion. Looking at the densely packed fanged venomous snakes, Su Ning felt her hair stand on end, and her palms were sweating. Tang Ao, on the other hand, was very annoyed. Tang Ao didn't want to waste too much time here, so he naturally dealt with the three-tailed snow wolf's request as soon as possible. Then, he would let Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf form a spirit beast contract. But at that moment, the surrounding Fang Vipers that surrounded Tang Ao and Su Ning were clearly unwilling to let them pass. On the journey, because Tang Ao's powerful and sharp aura was constantly being released, there were almost no stupid demonic beasts that blocked Tang Ao's path. But the group of Fanged Vipers in front of him clearly did not have that awareness. The Fanged Vipers had the strength of the 8th or 9th level of the Origin Realm. Naturally, Tang Ao would not put that kind of strength in his eyes, but with the densely packed Fanged Vipers, it was a bit troublesome for Tang Ao to deal with them. If it was Tang Ao alone, opening the sacred Battlebone Life Spirit and using the 7 Slaughter Holy Way to teach the group of Fang Vipers a lesson would be nothing. However, Tang Ao was carrying Su Ning, so while fighting, Tang Ao had to split his attention to protect Su Ning. Furthermore, Tang Ao didn't dare to be too far away from Su Ning. Su Ning had a child life spirit of the Jade Bone Flesh life spirit that Tang Ao had given her, so she wasn't afraid of the Fanged Viper's venom. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.